There we go. It's so bright. Hi, guys. Good morning, everybody. Oh my God, why is this so bright? There we go. All right, good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? We are going to be chatting about all the stuff that has been going on over the weekend. So, in all honesty, nothing really happened this weekend, to be honest. Let's pull up. Let's pull up some of the stuff from the weekend. Get y'all's chat on the screen. Yeah, so right now, I honestly thought they would have shown off some of the Deathmire stuff. God, man, my screen's so bright. Whitewashing myself out. Let's turn on this lamp, see if it helps. It doesn't. Everything's so bright. It does a little bit. Bounces out the light from the screen. There we go. We're still learning lighting setups. This is my little dark box. Actually, oh, did I figure it out? Do I just put this cardboard box on here? That's stupid that it actually worked a little bit. That actually worked a little bit to get things not so bright. Oh my God. This lamp is great, but at the same time, it's also a pain in my butt. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Put that over there for now. All right. So sorry about that. Yeah, we're all doing some technical stuff. So looks like we got, new starter sets for pre-order. That's cool. I'm excited about everything with 11th edition. This has just been fun. There's so many buttons that I'm just trying to push. Bam. All right, that'll get everybody to come into the chat. Well, anyways, how was y'all's weekend? Did y'all have a good weekend? Any 40K games going on this weekend? Any 11th edition? I got to meet some cool people over at That's weird that you could see my reflection. I got to meet some really cool people at my local game store who were getting into 11th, and it was really fun getting to watch them get super excited about their painting. It was they were doing a doubles match of Krieg World Eaters together, which was really cool, almost like a chaos military, kind of like Blood Pact. And then also on top of it, can't think. Yeah, they also did Tyranids and oh god, what was the other guy playing? Salamanders. That's what it was. Tyranids and Salamanders together, Guard and Chaos together. So fun stuff. In all honesty, part of the reason why I don't really have anything super planned is one, maybe we'll do some list building today. I know I was talking with Saded about doing some lists for them, but if they're not available today, that's totally chill. Because in all honesty, I really thought that we were going to get some news about Deathmire by now. And to be completely honest, we have not gotten anything so far. We could look at the new Morga the Mighty. This is the character that they kind of showed off. I love this rhino. This is cute. That is honestly, like, it's so funny with the ogre Maw tribes. Is that how you pronounce it? It's so funny with the ogre Maw tribes how like it's it's got like that thickness to it. Yeah, that thickness. It's got that thickness to it, but it's also like very rounded in its design, where it's not like it's very intentional where the sharpness is. And it's really kind of cool. Like it's kind of I never really thought I'd be this hardly vibing with ogre maw tribes, but like I'm really getting drawn into these ogre maw tribes. Like I'm not buying them because I don't have the guts. Come on. Oh, my big kitty wanted to show up because he wanted to jump on the painting desk, try and hang out with Nigel Stormcock. Hey, all right, say hi to everybody, kitty. Really? This is the time you're not gonna meow? Yeah, there you go. All right, come on. Yep, I know you don't like it, but I got a quarter right there. There you go. Good job, buddy. Love that cat. Anyways, 8. Sorry, that was from me having to wrestle my kitty cat. But I'm really vibing with the Ogre Maw Tribe's like entire design scheme. I just think it's cool. I don't know. Like I'm like look at it, look at that. Like big is that a big lady or is that a big dude? I can't tell. But like the sword or the chopper's super sick. This is sick. Their little belly's sick. All the bellies are fun. These like giant ogres are super sick. It's super neat. It's a very cool one. We can put this on here too. Oh, you can't see it. I put it on here. So now I can see you guys while we were chatting. But yeah, some of these rules are cool, right? Like subtracting rend when they get targeted. Uh yeah. Excluding faction train. Yeah, it's cool. It's like getting crits, mortals and stuff. I don't really play much Sigmar, so I don't really know how all the Sigmar rules work. But what a cool I imagine these guys are slow, tanky, can hit decently hard, but aren't crazy. But I love the idea of like cannibals eating people on the battlefield and healing themselves back up. That's cool that you can get like anti-monster, anti-war machine, anti-cavalry. I like that idea of giving certain things anti, where it's like I don't have something like a giant war machine. You might have some giant beasts, but it might not be exactly the same. Again, I don't play Sigmar. I'm waiting for 40k stuff. This is really cool though. I just love this design that they've got going for the ogres. I think it's so cool. I really do think it's super cool. So yeah, that's kind of what we got over this today. Is we got this new Morga, which she looks cool. I feel like she could be a really good conversion for a like take those off, make like a Nurgle beast or something like that for a Chaos Lord. I think that could be really cool. Add some pustules and stuff. Um, that's neat. Yeah, and you can do it with a normal character or an epic character. But like what an interesting design of like this metal, right? It's almost close enough to be the Slaneshi like curvature, right? But it's not enough to where it looks like almost like a really bashed up piece of metal. And there's just something so charming about that. It's really cool seeing this like these like helmet designs being so unique. I really, really enjoy that. Very enjoyable. Um, but yeah, pretty much other than that on the weekend, we got our new starter sets for pre-order. So that's fun. Got some new starter sets, got the introductory set. So it looks like there's going to be some terrain in here. Just so you know, though, I don't know if this is going to come with the terrain pieces. I think it's just going to be the actual physical terrain. So you could get the terrain early. But I also don't think that the terrain is painted either. So personally, I'm waiting for the $300 box set just because I might as well. Like painting terrain is interesting and cool. I've thought about doing it. It looks fun, but like I would rather somebody else just paint it for me for my collection at home. Personally, that's just what I would rather do. But it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal at all. Um, But yeah, that's kind of all we've gotten so far. I'm really kind of wondering if we're gonna get Deathmire stuff today, because isn't that supposed to be happening today? Um, So we're gonna wait for that a little bit, and we'll talk up some lists a little bit. But the things that we can talk about is we could talk about Marines. Yippee! Some 40K news. All right, so far. So it's heresy, but we can make it. We can make it 40K. So they've added Astartes shotguns as an upgrade kit to Horus Heresy. That's always one of the things that I found the weirdest about 40K in general is that there's a distinct like lack of shotguns in the entire like kits right now. Like there's so little of just one qualification of weapon, right? Like you can get them in Votan, you can get them in the scouts, right? There's ways of getting it on like one dude, but it's so weird. Like it's so strange that this is like this is it's so strange that it's just now that they're actually doing shotguns. In my personal opinion, I just find that so strange because I just never saw any shotguns. Especially in 10th edition, there was no shotguns basically, which is fascinating because like I would have thought that shotguns was a more popular like weapon option in general. Because I think shotguns are cool. Personally, I think they're neat. So I'm very surprised that it's taken them this long, like an upgrade sprue with just like these shotguns. Because otherwise, I've seen these in Necromunda, like this style shotgun. I've seen a lot of Necromunda, but I don't think that there's anything, at least in 40K for sure. There's not a lot of shotguns. There might be more in Heresy. I could be wrong because I don't play very much Heresy. By very much, I mean not at all. I don't play any Heresy, so I don't really know. But I'm very excited for these as like a upgrade for some new old weapons, maybe to make some heretic combi weapons to kind of give that kind of old Heresy vibe to them. I think that's going to be super cool with these. Otherwise, in all honesty, today has been a very slow news day so far. I thought that by now we would probably have a reference to what's going on with the Deathmire stuff, but I guess not. So let's see what they're saying. Because here's Connor again. Is his name Connor? No, Caius. That's what I was. Kai or Connorus? Connor, man. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's gotta be next. It's gotta be today. So we just call him Connor. Yeah, we can just call him Connor. I actually like him a lot better than Caius Connor. Thank you for joining the chat, bud. Please type in the chat. It gives me things to talk about. No, but I still like this miniature. I just think it's so weird that they released it Ultramarine during the generic campaign. But I thought they were gonna do Deathmire by now. I guess not. So what we can do for right now, and I know, Machine, I need you. You probably want to avert your eyes since it's non-GW. We can do some list building since I don't think that there's really anything going on right now in the news for 40K. I don't think that there's really anything going on. Unfortunately, this will give us stuff to do until maybe there's some news, because we can always chat about what's going on because we are some smart Warhammer generals. So let's get started. Since there's really only one audience member right now, is there a list that you want to work on? Machine, if you're still in the chat, we could work on a World Eaters list if you'd like, since I know you're getting into World Eaters. That could be a fun one, since as of right now, by the way, this is again for my time of saying, guys, don't worry about what's happening with the A tier, B tier stuff. If you want more news on the Art of War drama, oh, you know what? That actually is some 40K news. So Art of War I made a goofy WE list yesterday. Oh, okay. Send it to me. I need to, we can pull it up and we can look at it. I would like to see this very goofy list because I love a good goofy list. I love a good goofy list. The real question is, if you want, you could just text it to me and we can build it in here. That would be super fun. So weirdly, so I do have some 40K news. I forgot. I'm a terrible journalist. I'm so sorry. I should have written a brief sheet. We did have some news. So there has been Art of War drama. If you're living under a rock right now, I'll let you know what's going on. So Art of War, one of the biggest competitive like Warhammer YouTube channels out there, released a tier list with Richard Siegler, who is the current world champion of Warhammer, putting a bunch of tiers of where armies are at right now. It was a little whack from some people's opinion. Personally, as an Emperor's Children player, I felt like they got it right with the A tier. I think we were doing pretty good. But Guard got really, really, really upset because of the fact that they put them in A tier when right now Guard is dooming themselves. I still think that they're maybe D tier, C tier. Not the worst thing in the world, but they still need some help. But they need some help, but like it's not as bad as everybody is like claiming. Art of War basically came out, said all that, and this weekend, one of their guys, Tucker, who I guess is one of their Guard guys, went out and went undefeated with Guard. So it's a very funny situation because people on the Guard subreddit are very, very upset about this. Not upset that he. It's really weird because they're upset that he did well, not because the fact that he did well, but the fact that him doing well. Oh, I love it. Him doing well basically implies the fact that the dooming is wrong, right? Almost. While at the same time, it's also one of the best players on that team in the world. So, like, if anybody could have done it, it was that guy. So, so that was something that I found really funny this weekend, looking at Reddit this morning and seeing that. Turns out Guard is doing. But also at the same time, I completely understand where Guard players are coming from because as when I was starting with Emperor's Children, right? When I was starting with Emperor's Children, there was a lot of hate around Emperor's Children at the very beginning of the game because we were weird and we were strange and we were really good, and John Lennon was just killing it. He was destroying everybody, and so I remember playing and having a lot of people who would go up against me and go, well, yeah, it's the best army in the game right now, 60% win rate. And then they'd play against me and they would go, oh, and I'm like, yeah, I just started with this a month ago. Like especially when it comes to like games like these, it's a dice game. So it's very random. You're just hoping for the best probability. And then two, a tier list or a faction data should be a good indicator of what needs help and what needs to get like at the top and the bottom, not in the middle, right? Even EC being really, really high up is a weird kind of thing because we're 3 weeks out from the rules coming out, right? So for Guard players, for other players, for players who are like, oh, I'm worried about 11th edition, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna play this game for 3 years. We're gonna be playing this edition for 3 years, and I promise you, metas don't last more than like 6 months. They're gonna change it up for every 6 months. So there's gonna be at least 6 times, right, where the way that the data is all gonna change. So deep breaths, everybody. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna have some fun. But now we're going to talk about this really goofy World Eaters list that Machine has just sent me. And as somebody who doesn't play Core normally, that's true. The first 6 months of 10th edition where Eldar won literally everything. Yeah. God, what a terrible, terrible army rule to play against they had for that bit, where it's just like, I have 12 dice. How many of these dice are How many of these dice are sixes? All of them, and I can use them whenever I want to. What a crazy rule. Yeah, like to the point where now the Wraith Knight in Eldar is nerfed so hard. My partner, my girlfriend Emma, loves to play her Wraith Knight because she's the one who has it set up as a Sailor Moon Wraith Knight, if you've seen that online. And she's like, yeah, great, it's great, but I can't do anything with it because it was so good at the beginning of the edition because it got nerfed so hard. So breathe, everybody. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get there at some point. So one thing that I really like about this list that you've made already, Machine, is that you've got priority assets and Purge of the Foe, which really gives you the opportunity to do either. Purge the Foe, I feel like, is Purge the Foe. I like Purge the Foe. I think Purge the Foe is cool. I think Purge the Foe is a good mission. It's a simple mission. It's a fun mission. I also can see where priority assets would make you a lot of money off this. A lot of moolah in interactions. Because again, with world leaders, one of the biggest things is that if you have the opportunity to go out and kill stuff, right? Then you are in you're in a much better position because you're so much better at killing than, let's say, like a weak Emperor's Children unit is, that when it comes down to it, you can choose either, right? And you could say like, oh, well, if I don't have any 8-bound to send over there, I can do an action instead. So that's cool. My focus was to see how far you could push the 8-bound data sheets. The Arch Slaughter enhancement. Ooh. I do love the fact that you're pushing, so you get to add 1 AP. Oh, that's actually really nice because there's no way of negating AP besides in, like, what's it called? If I can think, Armor of Contempt. There's no way of doing it. So any +1 AP is actually really nice right now. So we got a 5-bound, 8-bound. Yeah, I should probably actually go over the list. So we've got 5 8-bound right here attached to a Slaughterbound. So this is the only attached unit that we've got going on right here, which makes sense. I mean, the Slaughterbound is a really good leader for them. I mean, so is it only one character? Oh no, there's 2 attached units. No, I just can't read. I just can't read. Exalted 8-bound becomes AP 4, damage 4. Don't even tell me that. I don't like that. That's scary. That's scary. Yeah, that's really nice. The AP 4, I'm actually thinking about doing that in Demon sometime. Let me just, so we got, so it looks like we've got 1 normal 8-bound, 2 exotic 8-bound, exotic 8-bound, exalted 8-bound. So that's the crazy thing on this too, is that these 6 8-bound, one, if we were doing old style, God, why can't I find stuff? There it is. It's all under infantry, not other data sheets. Is that you should be able to bring 8 of them. So even models with field night plane have to clear 4 damage. Yeah. Yeah, which interestingly enough, there is not a lot of feel no pains in the game very much, except for if you're playing Space Marines for some reason. For some reason, Space Marines have the most amount of feel no pain, and so we've maxed out the Slaughterbounds. I like this. I really like the Slaughterbound model. I think that the being able to bring stuff back, right? I'm thinking of when I have to kill Mortarion. That's genuinely very fair. Yeah, because I forgot that he has a feel no pain 5 built in. Is there anything else that really like has a lot of feel no pains anymore? Even Drukhari, I just played Drukhari. They don't have that many feel no pains. Still a good thing to have. I mean, it's better than bouncing because I mean, also you can do once per battle dev wounds too. Add 3 and then gain dev wounds for each of those things. So even without the dev wounds, you're already doing the AP 4 damage 4 into vehicles or monsters. You throw that in, every 6 is you don't even get to save. Even if like you had an AP, like imagine you went into a Defiler or like I was gonna say a Rep X. No, because Rep X is save on 3s. That would overtake it. So yeah, that's the nice thing too, is you get deep strike on each of these guys, right? That's a weapon. Where's the abilities? Where are you at? Probably go up to the sheet. I'm not used to new recruit because I use the other thing. Yeah, so like, oh, you don't have deep strike with these guys. It's the exalted 8-bound. Okay, so you've got 2 8-bound that have deep strike, 1 8-bound that has scouts. That's nice. Because then you can have one on the field that's already starting out. Let's see what else we got. Master of Executions and Khorne Berserkers. Interesting. So with the Master of Executions that you've got here, you have him attached to these Khorne Berserkers as a bodyguard unit. My only question is, just to double check that this didn't cut off at any point. For your units that I've got here, so I've got the 3 8-bound units attached to the Slaughterbound. We've got another 8-bound unit of 5 non-attached. And then we have 2 Khorne Berserkers, a Chaos Rhino, and then a Master of Executions leading. Sometimes it cuts off when it sends it over text. Is that everything in the list? Is there anything that I'm missing from that? It's interesting that your Master of Executions is a leader. Interesting. But yeah, if there's anything, that should be all of it. Okay, cool. Man, that is a very infantry heavy army. That's super fun though. Not a vehicle in sight. And you know what? And many in the chat will be happy that there's no defiler at all. There's no defiler. You don't get a single support character. That's really interesting because the Master of Executions in CSM is a support guy. So was that something that you could do where you could attach both of them at one point? Because I do remember that like Master of Executions always went like with Chaos Lords in CSM from what I remember, or like Fabius Bile or stuff. So is that like the generic Lord that basically you get as your Master of Executions pretty much? No, it was never even an option for us. Interesting. Because I know he had fights first at some point. So I guess this is basically like your version of that, right? Where you have, this is your leader kind of character besides a Lord. Interesting. That's very strange. So my only question, right, is you've got 1 Rhino in the list, you've got a Master of Executions, and you've got 2 Khorne Berserkers. My only question of why not throw why not make it a 20-man? Is it so you can toss 1 in a Rhino? Because you can't toss the big 20-man in a Rhino, unfortunately. So I have 1 in a Rhino and then 1 outside of a Rhino is what I'm guessing. Because you can only throw a 14 in there. But this one's interesting. So the biggest problem is that you're going to have is like, man, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. The only problem that I'd have is just you if you ran into infantry, you'd be screwed. Like anti-infantry stuff, you'd have a big problem. But it's also Khorne. So like maybe not. The separate units is to help with scoring secondaries. The one starts in the Rhino and the other is out. I like it. That is fun. And then you get, if a model was destroyed, you get Surge Move and Brazen Fury. That's nice. So basically everything can do a Surge Move if you get shot. So my question with that is, what if, because we've got 1 Master of Executions we want with the Khorne Berserkers, right? Because you're saying that this is to help with scoring secondaries, right? Which is good. But 180 points is a lot. That's an expensive man. It's an expensive group of men. What if instead of having that guy, all we did was toss in, which is the one that gets infiltrators? Is it Jackals or Goremongers? It's Goremongers. Yeah, Goremongers. So for 160 points, 150 points, right? About 30 points less, you get 2 infiltrating Goremongers. And then you can run up very beginning of the game, force your opponent out of their little hidey holes. That's what I do, right? With my infiltrating infractors. Because mine are 80 points at this point. And all they do is do actions. They just drop in, they have their guns, they just sit there and they go, yeah, you want to touch the middle objective? Bop. Here you go. Here's some infiltrators. So that's the only cool. Looks like we've got audio back. Let me know if I need to reset the audio on this, because my headset likes to turn on and off even when it's plugged in and charging. So, as much as I love this headset, just so you know, sometimes it turns on and off. Awesome. Thank you for the thumbs up for the audio. But yeah, that's the only thing. The only thing that I could think of is because you were talking about having these guys score secondaries, which they can, but we've got a 60-point character added to them. If their entire thing is going to be going secondaries, right? Then all of those points, right? Because you're gonna hope probably do 2 secondaries per turn, right? Hopefully you can do 2 secondaries per turn. And these guys are very fast with their being speed 8, but I mean you can't advance and do actions. Unfortunately, we're not Orc, Space Marines, or Necrons. GW, why can't I do actions in advance? If you're gonna let the Space Marines do it, let me do it. I'm a Space Marine. I'm just a heretic one. It still counts though. It's the same thing. The only thing that I would be worried about with the Berserkers, it's a lot of guys and trying to use them to score. Because what if you have a secondary where you're like, I gotta stay alive, so I'm gonna shovel all these guys in a building. And you're like, I don't really know if I can hide 10 men, but you can hide 5. Wait, is it 10? It's 8. You can hide 8 guys. 8 guys, burgers, and fries, right? This stream sponsored by Blue Raspberry. Apologies for nuking y'all with my my gross me drinking noises. But yeah, that is something that I like. I like throwing in 2 units of like, come kill these guys, right? Especially with World Eaters, because your biggest thing, right, is you want me to not stay on my side of the field. Because if I stay on my side of the field, that might get it harder for you to get over there. But at least the Goremongers, you can set it up and be like, I'm in the middle. I'm in my expansion zone. So that's the reason I like those 2. You don't have to. It's okay. If you don't want to, you don't have to. This is to help. It's not forced. But I like the Goremongers specifically for that. Because also you could even throw in some Jackals, right? But I also have this with enhancements. So let's make sure I got the enhancements on there. So for the enhancements that we had for you, I like having the little mortal cultists around, specifically just because the cultists are easy to keep alive nowadays, with it being -4 to hit and stuff, being in cover and making people have to run up 12 inches on you. You could do a great job of sitting behind one of these little units with a Scout 6 8-bound unit, and then go, yeah, come take my Goremongers. I really hope you come take my Goremongers, because if you take my Goremongers, I'm gonna punch you with Exalted 8-bound. So you better hope that whatever you just traded was worth it, because whatever comes, the Exalted 8-bound are gonna hit you with damage 3 at the very least. So like one way that I got hit with that, right, is I was playing a Blood Angel guy. Well, it works for Scouts too, but I was playing a World Eater guy at the Dallas Open. He put Goremongers down behind a wall, so where I'd have to go through the wall to go and fight him, and like there was no reason for me to ever want to go over there, because Scarbrand could just go and take that whatever I put over there with a little baby 6-inch move, pretty much. Maybe even heroically intervening, to where I was just such in the back, just like trying to get through the kills, right? But I just couldn't do it because there was nothing that I wanted to send out there to go get killed. And I think that's something that World Eaters does really, really well on giving yourself basically the ability to say, exactly, like you're fishing, right? When we went fishing, your goremongers are literally your fishing unit. And looks like we got the results of Deathmire. So we'll pop over there in a second, but I want to finish this up because I don't want, because we'll go back to this as well. But I do want to keep talking about this. But yeah, the reason why, let me just make sure I get all of your exultant stuff. So yeah, we're at 230 points. So I would probably remove the Jackal. They're not super useful. 1965, we can find another 40 points or something somewhere. We can make it. Oh man, our slaughter is expensive, but you get every blessing of corn. Yeah, worth it. Super worth it. And you can't do 4 enhancements, unfortunately. Do we have any exalted 8-bound in like upgrades? No, because we have the 2 enhancements from that one. But yeah, so that's the reason I would use, that's what I would use the goremongers for, is bait. They're literally bait, right? Where you're like, I want to set this thing up in the center, and you have to go in the center because I put goremongers there infiltrating, right? Either that or you're just going to let me score center objective. You're going to let me score, have a center objective at the beginning of the game, which is really, really tough to deal with, right? These things where it's like now, and then on top of it as well, it's because this is what I do with EC. I want you to go towards those little smaller units that I want dead, because the minute you go out there and get those, you're closer than I had to get to, right? Like shooting armies are very hard for us to deal with, specifically because they don't have to fall for our trap, right? If they can get something in the right angle and just shoot it off the board, well, who cares about the infiltrating goremonger? It wasn't doing the job, which is baiting in like a Black Templar, right? Running in with a Crusader squad and killing your goremongers. You're like, okay, great. Who cares? That's 300 points. I'm going to shoot that with AP whatever. What are they called? Forge Fiends. Yeah, that's exactly the point with it. You got it right on the head. It's just bait. It's 2 bait units. And the cool thing, too, is what I do, because I played a Drukhari match on Saturday where I brought 3 Mandrake units. And those Mandrake units specifically were meant to go up and down, and up and down. And they were just my point scorers, but they were also meant to just say, you have to go to this problem, or else I'm going to be able to jump around the entire map and be able to score the points as I want to. Right. So like my Mandrake unit started on my expansion near the center objective and close to her natural expansion. So I picked the 2 off, right? I moved my incubi up, took my natural expansion, and said, okay, you're not going to take that one ever. You're going to have to deal with 10 incubi. Have fun. And then I kept picking up the Mandrakes and then placing them in places I wanted her to go. So, right. So she sent a big brick of Harlequins at me at the very beginning, right? And so those Mandrakes got killed, but a Hand of the Archon had already gotten out because of a boat blowing up, so I could heroically intervene and jump in and put 4 OC on the objective. Those infiltrating units are good bait. They're very, very good bait. That's what I use my infiltrating units for. But since GW wanted to take their sweet time, seems like we got it looks like it's only on Instagram for right now. So let's see if I can find it. We'll probably wait until it shows up then. Yeah. Once again, they put it on Instagram earlier than normal. So let's go back to that. So yeah. Well, man, that's really unfortunate that they did it this way. Thank you, GW. I appreciate you posting on Instagram something that probably should have been an article, but that's okay. They're probably mad at me anyways. What is this, 2012? Making posts on Kick? Yeah, exactly. It's Kick time. Oh, okay, interesting. So the poll is closed. They are not announcing the winner this week. They are they will announce it this week is what they're saying, but they're not announcing it today. They're going to give it a week, but they've polled it. So they've got all the information for it, and we will get that actually on a later date. Wow. Okay. Man, something is going on over there, because this is the slowest rollout for a new edition I have ever seen. Like, man, they are taking their sweet time with this, which I guess is fair, but it concerns me that they might not have enough content. It also concerns me that people might be right, that we might not get the Art Codex until October, which is insane. But okay. New edition cycle in 6 years rather than 3. All right, so who cares? We're done. We're done with that. Deathmire is over. Great job, everybody. Put your bets in the comments below, and whoever loses has to buy me miniatures. If you win, I don't care. You win nothing. You buy me free stuff. That's what it is. So, jumping back over to this list, yeah, that's the only thing I would think, because my thing with Berserkers is just there's so many points for something that would then end up probably get in a position to just immediately die, right? Because when you're doing objectives and your actions, like, you've now painted a target on the back. Like, so 10 Berserkers is tough because 20 man, right? You got 20 wounds. I do like the idea of every unit in the army having a surge move. I agree. I'm like, do the Goremongers have a surge move? Oh my god. Machine. The Goremongers have a reactive move. So it's not a surge move, but it is a reactive move. So you would be able to reactive move every single unit in the game on your list, at least. That's so fun. I love that. Oh, now I want to play this, actually. I'm like, who wants to jump on TTS and get this done? Like, we can film it. Guys, we can on live. We could be Instagram live streamers. Is everybody ready for me to start bone smashing? Bone maxing? Boot scooting. I like that name. That is the name of the list now. It's a new boot scooting. Because it's the new boot scooting. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll support you later. All right. Can't even put a fun tagline on my list without paying new recruits $1,000. Is what it is. And then we're gonna put an 8-bound Lord in there. Let's put Karn in there. No, I'm just kidding. But I really like this list. I think this is very fun. I really want to play against this because I love the idea that you have a billion reactive moves and a billion surge moves, because as an EC player, I'd be like, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm 18 inches away. Yeah, have fun moving. Oh my god, he moved 8 inches. Oh my god, that's a lot of movement. So I really love this. I actually came up with a list recently, and we should play these against each other. Where it was Mercurial Host, and I could do 4 reactive moves in a turn, because our spawn also have the same reactive move as the Goremongers. And with Mercurial Host, you could spend 1 C, but to let anything reactive move if something got close. So you could have Fulgrim do a 6-inch reactive move away from stuff. And if oh my god, and oh my god, I just thought of something so stupid. If the Tacoma document FAQ is actually what's going to end up happening on the 22nd, then this also means that I could use that reactive move to take Fulgrim and reactive move him behind a wall. Oh my god, that's so stupid. Fulgrim just going, I don't want to fight this, going behind a wall. That's goofy. I love that. Oh, this is a goofy list. I really like the fact that you basically have near what is god, I'm so bad at math. It's 24 guys. You have 24 8-bound. So what is the wounds on these guys? They're each like 3 wounds. Oh my god. So you have like god, I don't want to do math. You have like, oh god, I'm not doing this math. Guys, I know you're probably going to make fun of me for pulling out the calculator, but I'm not doing this math. It's too early in the morning. I haven't finished my energy drink, and I don't even know where the calculator is on this one. I'm just lazy. Guys, I'm lazy. I don't give a crap. It's fine. Boop, boop, boop. So you got 24 guys times 3 wounds apiece. You have a total of 72 demon wounds. I hate you. I hate you. Oh my god. So in order to kill every single 8-bound, you have to do 72 wounds total. That's a lot of wounds. Doable, but that's a lot of wounds. That's a lot of crap. And then on top of it, in order to score, you have to get the 4 8-bound leaders or 3 8-bound leaders, because that's how the game works. God dang it. All right. And then more math. Plus 6. Plus 6. Plus 6. No, not 9. 6. So that's a total of 90 wounds that needs to get scooted through for these World Eaters before you even have to deal with the 20 wounds from the butt. Oh yeah. And then so let's basically say that let's add an extra 3 wounds per that. So 3 wounds per guy. So let's add 3. Add 3. Because you're hopefully gonna. So that's about 100 wounds, give or take. Give or take about 100 wounds average. And they said that the little infantry guys was a problem. No, that's super fun. That's super funny. I as somebody who plays a lot of flawless blades, I enjoy that because we can do that many wounds at -4 AP. Thank God. But oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah, that's 100 8-bound wounds before we even take into consideration the battle line and the master of executions. That's nuts. That's a fun. What else does the Slaughterbound do besides that? He does something else, doesn't he? He revives, and then he gives him the dev wounds. Does suck that he can't give the dev wounds to everybody. He can give himself deep strikes or did. So every time you make a Brazen Fury move, it is rolled as, oh, so you max out the Blood Surge move every single time you attach a Slaughterbound. I like that. My only pet peeve is the fact that it's 155 points. And so the list builder wants nothing more than to find a way to get the 35 points in here. It's gonna bother me so bad, but that's because I have a problem. It's because I have a problem, not you. This is super fun. I don't like it. I'm so scared. Yeah, because that's my biggest thing with the like you get to the max points right when you get this second one on there in 1995. But then, like, in all honesty, I'm like, why would I want to do actions with these big boys? They're so big. I'd rather just do Goremongers instead. Machine, is there anything you'd like to add on to your description to the audience here so that we can learn more about how much you like your list? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to do anything. But yeah, that's the only I really, the funny thing is that I surprisingly think you've made something that's actually really, really good. Like actually really good. Because I mean, if you've got any vehicles, I mean, these guys will take them out. Right. And like I've used my flawless blades in this same like way. Having these 2 6-mans is impressive and works. It really does work. I mean, the 8-bound having a scout 6 move is nice. I think that if we're doing something where we're not worrying about getting all the 8-bound out, right? You could probably replace this one, right, with something else for 270 points, maybe. But otherwise, like you've got 2 scout units that you have to deal with, 2 deep strike threats, right? 2 infiltrating threats. You've got a brick of guys and a rhino. So this is a very elite list. You don't have much in the list. You have to keep almost everything alive, right? But I mean, that's going to be hard to chew through. What is the Invuln save. The theme song for this list would be Kickstart My Heart. Oh! Yeah, I forgot that they have a +1 to hit aura. So you'd have all these guys. Oh, God, I forgot about that. See, if I sing it a little bit, they won't copyright me. That I think. If I sing it, they won't copyright it. They won't be able to tell what it is. It'll be such bad singing. This is when you guys can tell me I'm a great singer. Yeah, get my ego up. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I this is silly. Kickstart My Heart is silly. Just you get into the game, you're playing against somebody in a tournament, right? They're playing Kickstart My Heart, you're just chugging beers as you're doing it. It's very, very 80s. This is a very 80s list. I like it. You have your El Camino here, right? Got 10 guys in the back. And your opponent's movement. Oh, yeah, and this is cool too, because you could send this bad boy up here, right? And just be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna set him right next to a wall, pop the guys out, as long as one of them is touching the frame. Because that's the new changes to Disembark, I guess. I don't know. It's all kind of been the same to me on that one. I thought that was already what you had to do. But no, I really like this. I think this is really goofy. This is so silly. I wish that you could do 8 bound, in all honesty. I kind of wish you could. I think that would be super fun. Yeah, this is super cool. This is the hard thing, is like I don't play much World Eaters, and so the biggest thing that I am is excited about this, because this is a meme list. This is a fun meme list that actually ends up being fairly decent. The only thing that you do have to deal with, right, is the fact that you are heavy elite. You are super elite, right? You are going to need to keep that CP for rapid ingress, getting these guys in, right? Because they move decently, but you don't want them to deep strike in and then be 8 inches away and try and charge. So like that, yeah, the 10 inches of movement being T, yeah, but they have an invuln. They have a 5-up. Okay, 5-up's nice. It's a shame you can't run 8 bound. It really is. I was talking to some old hammer players at one point. That's how demons worked at one point, is that you actually, like, when you summoned them, you could make the list as many sizes you want. It would just depend on like the points, right? So like if a demonette, like for 10 for me is 95 points, is it 90? So it'd be like maybe point, I don't know what the math would be on that one, but like however many you would choose, right? Like if I brought 6 demonettes, it would be easier to summon them, right? Because you had to like roll a specific number. But if it was the exact demon number, I think you could just summon them. So that would have been cool if you could be like, yeah, I don't have as many units, but all of my Exalted 8-bound get a plus, gets a deep strike on 6 because I brought 8 of them specifically, right? Something where it makes it a little harder to play that unit because 8 guys is a weird number to play with. But then something where you're rewarded for playing thematically, partially because, in all honesty, right now GW doesn't really support the play style of fun. No, I'm just kidding. No, they just don't. They took a lot of the narrative stuff out, so we're just waiting to see what that looks like. I'm getting more negative than I need to be, but like, yeah, I think that in all honesty, as much as I like priority assets, I think I'd probably play this one in Purge, just because of the fact that you have so little, right? That you just want everything to be doing everything all the time. Because like these 2 Goremongers could do the secondary actions, but you probably don't want them doing the priority assets one. Also, some of the priority assets ones are a little strange. Where it's very still Purge the Foe-y, but it's not. Like I played one Saturday, that Drukhari game that I played, in which I was playing priority assets. But the mission that I was playing was actually, I could pull it up. The mission that I was playing was I don't remember what it was called specifically, but what I had to do was I had to kill things that were on objectives. It was a Vanguard operation. So I had to perform a Vanguard operation that turn and destroy stuff in that turn. But it was really weird because it's the weirdest, like, I don't know if you can see it on here super well, but it's the weirdest mission. Plus, I only know how to play Purge the Foe. It's the only way I know how to play. But like, even priority, this was basically Purge the Foe. Because what you had to do is you basically did an action in one of your opponent's territory within a terrain area, and then you had to wipe the terrain area. You had to kill everything in the terrain area. But it was weird because it was asking you to do an action, right? Which is bizarre because you were also supposed to clear the unit. So, like, for elite stuff, where we're normally playing, like, this one unit is going to get on the objective and do something, it was very weird, right? It was very, like, that to me was very similar to, actually, it was exactly the same as the Consecrate mission that I played against Emma. Won't let me go back to the thing. But basically, for Consecrate, what I had to do was I had to kill something and then take a terrain plate. So it was basically the same mission, but like one of them I had to commit an action, the other one I just had to kill something. Very strange. I kind of hope they balance that. Yeah, which makes sense. But that priority acid one was strange because you also had to kill stuff. That was the thing that I thought was so strange about it, because I was doing, it was priority acids versus reconnaissance, and that mission is like Vanguard action. So you had to clear the building that you did the action on. Very strange. It was a very strange one, and I can see where people are talking about like Purge being that strong because, again, yeah, you don't have to do actions. It's very, in the most non-negative way to say this, it is the most base way of playing 40K, right? I have my stuff, you have your stuff. I try to kill you. Me kill you, you kill me. We fight, right? Like, it's the classic thing of 40K, right? It's the arms race. You're fighting your opponent, you just want to kill their army, right? So it makes sense. And I like Purge. I like playing the simple way of 40K where you're just like, I don't care about the actions of blah, 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 blah. I outsmarted them, right? There's sometimes fun about just throwing two rocks at each other, and going, all right, which one's gonna leave this bloodbath, right? I take no offense. I'm basic. Same. Same. Yeah. Ultimately, that is not amazingly strong. It's just that a lot of others rely on doing actions. I completely agree with that. I think once we see more, um, and more on the term of like new units potentially coming out this edition, we already saw with what's it called? Necrons, Space Marines, and Orcs all got options this edition to advance and do actions, right? Or shoot and do actions, right? So I think what's genuinely going to happen is that as the game progresses, Purge is going to become less and less strong, specifically because there's going to be changes to these codexes that allow the other force dispositions to become better. Because that was a big problem in last edition, was you were having to bring units specifically to do actions, and if you were an elite guy like Custodes, right, you had the lucky thing of bringing little sisters to bring the sisters in, the little mini sisters, so you could like go, oh, I'm gonna hide these guys and do an action. They're a lot harder to see, a lot harder to shoot or to just fight, right? While your Custodes made up the big brunt of the force. But like, but like there wasn't something where it was like every single faction had this little baby unit that they could go out and just murder, because some things just couldn't do actions at certain points. What if Purge made it so kills only counted when the unit is doing the killing is not battle shocked? Or is that too harsh? I think that is an interesting idea. I think it would have to be play tested, because I don't know. It could be too harsh, right? That you don't have to do actions and making battle shock matter more. True. But Battle Shock is a lot more impactful this edition, and I think doubling down already on Battle Shock would potentially be a little too strong at the very beginning, just because we would want to see what it does first. Because Battle Shock does suck. Battle Shock sucks. Even in 10th edition, I played a game where I got Battle Shock to the very end, and I went, "Oh, that's it. That's game. That's game." That was my only chance to maybe do something. I'm done. I can't do anything. So the fact that Battle Shock is a lot harder now, we probably need another month to see how it works. Because there's a bunch of stuff like me. Could you imagine if you were playing Purge the Foe? I have 3 Emperor's Children Noise Marine units, and you're like, "All right, this unit that's going to kill your unit in a second, right? I shoot it for -3 Battle Shock last turn." Look, I'm not going to say anything negative about my headset brand. I normally am using another thing, but I didn't have the time to set it up this morning. I normally am not hating on my headset brand, but I just want you to know that this thing is turned off twice during this stream. It's been an hour. This should not be turning off this fast, especially plugged in. Anyways, but yeah, my reasoning for that is potentially I could shoot you with -3 leadership, -3 battle shock, and then you have to roll it. And then your big unit that you could only score points with could potentially be out of the entire game, and a battle shock ability could potentially stop you from playing the game. And I think my biggest thing, if I was writing rules, one of the things that I very much dislike, and this might ruffle some feathers a little bit. I'm not super into Magic, but I know enough about Magic the Gathering to understand certain things. Slither decks are my least favorite thing in the world, to the point where I will not play the game specifically because that deck sounds awful, where it just forces you to not play the game. And I think that is something that GW, I think that could potentially be a problem, where if you battle shock to the point, because that was the thing, is that you either hold objectives or you kill stuff. And if you can battle shock your way out of being able to score primary, then you can also battle shock your way out of not being able to actually play the game. And that is something that I think that if you go too far in that direction, you make a really unfun experience, because then battle shock armies like Tyranids could battle shock somebody, and then that person goes, "Well, why would I want to play this turn now? I can't score anything at all. You've made it so I can't do actions. I can't hold objectives. And now even if I kill something, it doesn't count either." That's the reason why I don't think that would probably work, just because, like, you could potentially shut down an entire army in one turn. And as we've all seen, one turn could snowball that. Well, somebody was telling me with the Slither deck that you also play cards that forces the other opponent to discard cards from their hand, to the point where you can discard their entire hand, where it's like they can't even play. They have to draw their cards always. And that is the interaction I did not like, from what I was told, right? Is the interaction of forcing the other player to not be able to play whatsoever. To me, is just, oh, it's called milling. Okay, thank you. I was getting the terms wrong. Sorry, Slither players. I've been talking smack on y'all. My bad. Milling. Yeah, the milling style, or whatever it is. The ability to mill somebody to death, to me, is a broken and bad interaction, because if you're playing a game with somebody, you should not be able to force that person to just not play the game, right? It's the reason why they added hidden, so people couldn't get tabled in turn 1 from a shooting army, because at that point the game just didn't happen. Everybody got a turn 1 and that was it. So that's my reasoning why I don't agree with that potential idea. Just because I don't want a situation in which an opponent looks at me and goes, "Well, I just don't do anything this turn or next turn or next turn." And you're like, "Oh, that's a feels bad moment. That's a feels bad moment." And, like, we don't want any feels bad moments. But I appreciate the idea. I think it's an interesting idea. And it's always good to throw out new ideas. That's just my thinking of why I don't think it would work personally. But we could always test it and see. Um, as a guard player, I love bringing cheap, multi units to do things. I love that too. I was playing Drakari, and it was a similar play style where you just brought a bunch of really, really small units. I had like 3 5-mans of mandrakes, 2 witch units, a hand of the Archon, and then a bunch of just like Hellions and stuff. That was super fun, just being like, "Oh, my guys are little guys. You can't kill all these little guys," right? And I do hope that the game pushes into that direction as well, where I hope 11th edition is encouraging more of the like those play styles, even though they nerfed y'all's infantry to 75 points. I still think that's wild in order to nerf all that stuff. But so say it as somebody who is a guard player, if you're still in the chat. My curiosity is, what do you think about the new Tucker thing? Oh, okay, we're not doing the guard rant again. Okay, cool. Okay, I understand. I was so curious about that because, like, I'm gonna be real. I saw that this morning and saw people be like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's the best player of the game. Like, it doesn't mean the entire army's doing better, right?" Like, I watched Liam BSL beat Triple Defilers with Drakari. Easy. And I'm like, yeah, this is how being really good at the game works, right? You could play anything and go undefeated, especially depending on that's my channel content, especially going on doing all that. We're not doing the guard rant again. That's really funny. We are always doing the guard rant. That's all we do. Turns out yeah, right. Turns out if you're just good at the core rules and you can work any army, man. This is also why I personally really don't like tournament data when using it as like a litmus, right? Using it as a good like feeler. Maybe litmus is the right word for that, and I messed that up. It's not concrete evidence, right? It's not that world leaders are the best in the game or the worst of the game because Art of War put them in D tier, right? But it is the silly thing of the fact that like I think it shows a bigger problem where like even Ospec starts doing those lists. And yeah, it's good for entertainment, but at the same time, it's so just not accurate. Like the way that this is tracked is not great, right? Like if you've ever played at a tournament, you know that like the way that we track the scores is that we input the scores ourselves and the opponents just make sure that everybody's happy. And if nobody's happy, then a judge comes over and puts it in, right? So like when they're like, yeah, the tournament data, blah, 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 you're like, we're 3 weeks out, man. Like, what the heck are y'all talking about? Now, I am concerned about Thousand Suns. I am concerned about Thousand Suns because I've read that and I think that there's a lot of good stuff in there, and I think that is S tier. But I'm not making any tier lists because I am not qualified. I don't want to. That seems like a waste of my time. I'd rather just chat with y'all about what you think is the best and what you think is the worst units and have fun with that. Plus, I'm getting sick of playing meta all the time. Sometimes I want to play some fun, goofy lists. Problem is, I wish there was a little bit more support for that. I'm excited for some of these legend units to be coming to the app for that. So, this has been a great list. I've enjoyed talking about this list very much. Let us move on to a different list now. Let's move on to something else. Machine, do you feel like we've properly analyzed your list and I've shit on you enough to get you everything that you need for that? Yeah, but just we'll let's see if they still do narrative tournaments because we don't know if they're doing narrative tournaments still. Even though I agree, narrative is the most fun. I do like play. I like the fact that they've kind of merged narrative and competitive a little bit, just because of the fact that personally, I do like the way that standard plays. I wish that maybe they had just done a little bit more effort for all that, but we're working on it. It's whatever. We'll figure it out. Quick version of the guard rank. Guard in 10th was a proper. Here we go. This is Sadid's rant that I shall be reading as a dramatic reading. The quick version of the guard rant. Guard in 10th was a probably underrated mid-tier faction that was good at playing a different game to anyone. Going into 11th, many of our core units got nerfed. So I'm gonna be real. I really do, I agree with the fact that I would say that it was an underrated army. I would say that it was high mid tier, very high mid tier. Um, I definitely agree that a lot of your core units got nerfed. I think the guardsmen going up to 75 points was a little nuts. I think they could have even. I think they maybe got a little bit too heavy-handed. But that's happens, right? I mean, that's a normal thing that kind of occurs, right? Is especially because I mean, I've played against guard like most of 10th edition, and I'm gonna be completely real. A lot of the problems of playing into guard isn't that guard is an overpowered faction. It is just that they have some really cool stats that if you don't have a way of negotiating those stats, you have no way of playing into them, right? So, like, at the very beginning of my edition, I had flawless blades that I could do, the Lord Exultant with lethals giving to his squad, and maybe Noise Marines as like my big things that could stop those stats. And guard with those T12 tanks, there was just nothing that I could roll that was reliable enough that was worth exposing a unit, right? And I think that's where guard is completely underrated in the fact that they do shooting really, really well, and they took advantage of the fact that you could turn one kill someone really easily, right? And I think that that was something that they probably looked at and went, "All right, we got to stop that." And what was goofy about that is they didn't really look at that for Tau though. They kind of just looked at it for guard, it feels like. And then they hit Tau with the, well, you guys were bad all editions, so here's your time in the sun, which is fine. But at the same time, that's how I feel about guard, where I'm like, guard is not, guard was necessarily not bad last edition, the same way that like everything was not bad last edition, right? Like if you had a meta list, there were certain things that sucked, like Imperial Agents, right? Because there was no meta list. But like Emperor's Children had some struggles unless you played Three Winged Demon Princes, right? Unless you played Triple Defilers when those came out, right? And Guard had that way of like, you could, the tools that they had, if you didn't have any tools of dealing with it, they would just stop you. It's kind of similar to Knights a little bit, right? Where it's like, if you don't have a tool to deal with Knights, like Knights are a lot harder to deal with. And it's the intimidation factor of the beginning, right? Where if guard is so different from the rest of like the way that the game plays that you have that almost that intimidation factor of I have to come up with a new game plan to do this. So not dissing on guard at all. I'm not saying guard should be bad, but I do understand that like, yeah, it was definitely like high mid tier, but it was very underrated because I think there was a massive amount of guard players, and I think not all of them took it seriously. And so it made the outside community of guard look a lot more in the middle than it was. But it was just that people weren't caring too hard about going hard in the paint, which is fine. Play what you want to play. But then that's where the tournament days where you're like, I only go to play RTTs or GTs because that's all I have in my area. So they're having to play competitive, bringing the win rate down a little bit. But it was the thing of like, you see the Imperial Agents right now are at an 80% win rate. That's because there's like two dudes playing it and he's getting 100 points every single game because he's figured it out. Right. I think there will be more onus on event runners to keep narrative terms from the. I don't see them dying. I do think that, in all honesty, it with the problem with the way that narrative is going to go, and then I'll talk back about guard in a second. The big problem with it is less of the fact that that the narrative tournaments are dying or that they're going to go away. That's not fair. Imperial Agents isn't real. It can't hurt you. The one dude with 80% win rate on Imperial Agents, he's coming for you. I don't see them dying anytime soon, but what I will say is that GW has now put a lot more work on the narrative part of it, right? The deck is really nice, the deck is really cool, but It's now on us narrative players. Like, I prefer narrative. I prefer running narrative games myself. It's up to us now to do more of the organization of those things, making fun narratives, making fun stories. Because in all honesty, we don't even know if they're going to do more campaign books like they did in 10th. They just said, go play with your campaign books, right? So that's another reason why 11th is so up in the air right now. Is for me as a narrative player, I need some more support. If the Codex rules are not going to have Crusade stuff, where's the support going to come from? And if there's no support on narrative, well, then it's really up to us. So that's where I like think about it is more of like it's the work that's being put onto us, which is going to make it a little bit harder rather than I'm offended by the sheer that's just but that's what I mean with the narrative tournament. It's just going to be a little bit harder and also harder to get new people into the narrative since it's not so easily distinguished with Crusade kind of going away. We've got a list for judgment. Thank you, list for judgment, Daniel. I'll pull that up. Cool. We'll get that set up for our next discussion on that in just a second. But let me answer some questions. We're doing screen moving. Screens are moving. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, best attachment was Grizzled, but our go-to meta. Yeah, the fact the minute I saw the LVO dude last October go, I had 230 guardsmen and I won. I went, I love it. He broke the game. He just broke the game. That's it. He broke the game, and like it's fun to have some things where it's like breaking the game in that way. It was also, as I say to my other guard player who I go to the gym with sometimes, they could have just done the thing where they said, how many guardsmen broke the game? How many was it? Right? Was it 230? Was it 220? Was it 215? Okay, just make them take 5 less than that and just say, okay, whatever breaks the game, you can't take that many. Like, to me, that honestly even seems like the easier way of doing it and just going through the math and like doing that because then you wouldn't have this weird, oh, well, we made it up 75 points. And you're like, or you could have just let us play a fun mass infantry list and just cut it off on the things that would have been broken. My point, I still think that that's what I would have done personally, but I don't work for GW. So, guard plays combat while most factions are playing force concentration. Yeah. Like like guard is very close to playing just like actual genuine military combat against each other. Like like Sade's you're always talking about. It's basically like playing that bolt action game, but in 40K. You're playing with big guns and tanks and shooting at each other. And if you're playing guard versus guard, which is why you shouldn't use that for data, by the way. It is a different game. It's a different game than normal 40K. It's also a different game when you play the same thing against the same thing in general. Personally. Strength and Mass Recon, you had some good trading pieces. Yeah, it's like the whole thing is that if you were less elite, you just didn't have to worry about dying all over the place because dying was fine. You just had the waves and waves of bodies, which is also like very, very canonical guard. Like, that's honestly how guard acts more than even the tank spam. So I was a little confused on the nerfing of that, especially when that's kind of the narrative way to play it. Like, I don't know. First time we had it, we had 8 charges by the end of turn 1. Jesus. That's worse than World Eaters. That's worse than World Eaters versus Emperor's Children. I usually do just 1 charge because I'm scared of being charged. As a Harlequin player who's had their faction folded into the Codex, I'm offended by the sheer existence of Imperial Agents Codex. I wanted to talk about that because I also agree. I think that that's a crazy thing that they came out with Imperial Agents right after 2 editions ago. They said Harlequins were too complex, and then you're going to give them the old man army, the army filled with old men and random civilians versus the clown custodes or custodes, or however you're technically supposed to pronounce it. Like, that to me was something that I always thought was kind of baffling because, like, that's not like Imperial Agents are kind of cool, But like Harlequins are a little bit more interesting when it comes down to that. Oh, and I appreciate the format that you did on this one for this list build, by the way. So exactly. Imperial Agents is catalog kill team. Like they made a kill team in Imperial, and then they were like, oh my God, Imperial Agents kill team. And they said, well, I guess it's got to be an army in 40K now. And you're like, it didn't need to be an army in 40K. It really didn't. I actually, and I'm going to make Imperial Agents players really mad. I own the Imperial Agents Codex. I love Imperial Agents. I think they're so cool. They should have stayed in kill team. Also, all your painting project Inquisitors and Assassins. Yeah, they're great. Like, Assassins are cool. Like, bringing one assassin in and having the rules up, you get to bring this stuff in, and that's how it works. It's cool. But they should be a supplement faction. They should not be their own Codex army rule. They should be Imperial Agents should be a supplement of any Imperium book. That's it, right? What Imperium players, the 5 that are winning right now. That's how it should work, right? If Harlequins and Corsairs and all of the different Space Marine subchapters and all the different Chaos Space Marine chapters are going to stay in their own books, Imperial Agents needs to go because Imperial Agents also does nothing. And it's once again the weird Knights and Chaos Knights kind of hypocrisy where you're like, these other factions have knights. Why don't we have a Xenos Knight faction, right? Well, it'd be too complicated. Okay, but pulling knights out of Imperial books isn't too complicated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that thing of like the explanations that are being said for why that this is the case and why this works and why this doesn't work is just kind of annoying. Oh, we're trying to make things more narrative, but we're going to remove Crusade. Oh, well, Imperial Agents is a book, but not really a book, you know. Like, just do something with it. Like, you're going to bring out Corsairs, you're going to bring out Exodites, you're going to bring out Harlequins, and then you're going to put them all in. Well, Wraith Knights were broken. I'm just kidding. But you're going to put all 3 of these giant sub factions who don't work together in the Eldar book, and then do things where you're like, by the way, Harlequins technically don't have the Ashuriani keyword, so they technically cannot use the army rule or jump at a wave serpent. And you're like, why? Why can they not use the army rule? Like, it says it on their thing, but it's like, well, is it like Pacts of Excess where if you bring demons in, you can't do it? And it's like, no, because you can mono Harlequins. Like, what? Like, that's so weird. The rule about not using them as an army. Exactly. Like they have no army rule. Even their detachments are all based off of what sub faction you want to play in them. And if you don't play the specific sub faction, it doesn't work, right? Like you can't bring in Death Watch agents in the Grey Knights one because it will be the Grey Knights one. And at that point, you've got 2 armies that already existed, right? That you folded in there. Great. I'm sorry, I was wrong. 3 armies that you've already just folded in there because you've got freaking Sisters who are their own army. You've got Grey Knights who are their own army, and then you've got Death Watch who are basically their own army. We don't talk about why or how that all works, but like all of these guys, right? Yeah, I've looked at it a little bit. I actually don't know it off the top of my head, but I should be able to pull it up on New Recruit, right? I think. Maybe it's under Imperial Agents in general. I don't know. Let's see what the road. Is that the one that came out for Grotmus? Because if it did, I might be able to just look at it. Because that's the thing, is that would mean I would have to. That means I would have to pay attention to Imperial Agents. And I don't pay attention to Imperial Agents most of the time. Because Imperial Agents doesn't like me. I do like the Veiled Blade one. I think the Veiled Blade one is really cool. Because I like assassins. The Grotmus was the assassins. Okay, then I'm gonna have to look it up on New Recruit. Yay. That is the only thing I wish that GW would do is I wish that they would, if they are going to do that version of the app, I wish they would make a web one so I could look this stuff up. But also then people would probably do what I'm doing and stream a bunch of stuff. I got to work on not saying bad words. There we go. Agent of the Imperium. Hi. We'll call it the high list. Detachment Imperialis fleet. I guess that's the Imperialis fleet. It's got to be. Yeah. I will say getting select one enemy unit and just get +1 to hit against that is pretty nuts. That's just the detachment rule is cool. Oh, that's cool. And you can get the Hand of the Archon ability. Okay, let's see what the enhancements are. Characters. I'm like, let's just do 3 Inquisitors because I don't know who else could use it. I guess a Navigator would probably be Rogue Trader, Entourage, Minister and Priest, Watchmaster. I don't know. Let's see what these do. Enhancements. All right. Clandestine operations. 3 gain infiltrate. Oh, wow. Okay. That's nice. So you just can't do it on Grey Knights. Thank God. That would have been broken. Are allocated as if they have interesting. That's weird. So just 3 mortal wounds off the bat. That could be cool. Pull up the Rogue Trader or the Navigator. Okay. So here's the Rogue Trader. Okay, here we go. Combat Landers is the next one. 3 Void Fares gain Deep Strike. That's cool. Getting Deep Strike is neat. So that's the thing is I now see I can really see violent acquisitions. Okay, so you can do some of these stratagems for free that I'm not able to see, unfortunately, unless I pull them up on my phone. But like, yeah, I can understand where Imperial Agents is super fun to play and seems super cool. Cause like I get it. It's like it's all the little guys, right? You're not gonna have a bunch of tanks, you're not gonna have a bunch of elites. It's a bunch of like random guys all forced together to get this done against the craziest things in the galaxy. What is it? Masters of the Void. You could set up reserves in the deployment zone. That's cool. All of the restrictions still apply. So you can only do it in turn 2. Close quarters barrage, strengthen AP by 1. That's nice. And advance and shoot and fell back. There we go. That's the one that's good. It's getting to advance and shoot back for free. Like, they're really cool. I think they're neat, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, well, if you're gonna do these guys, why don't we get in like people keep talking about the exiled of the craft world or something like that, and have Exodites, Corsairs, and Harlequins all be in one book. I think that would be fine. If you're gonna do rogue traders like this, I think that would be fine. Personally, I don't think that would be a big deal. I'm trying to see if I can. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we can negate. No, not a little bit. That's fine. I'll be outwashed. It's okay. Maybe you won't see any of my zits. That is interesting. Let's look at Saded's list that they've contributed to us. I probably need to share the screen first. Let's go. All right. So we are at 12 o'clock, and so I started a little late today. So we'll go until 12:30 today. So, okay, so you're doing fixed secondaries with this one too, with Bring It Down, Assassination, Cull the Horde. Huh? So you can pick 3? Or is that what you're doing? Are you doing fixed? Oh, okay, you did on. Oh, okay. That's what I was like. Why do you get to do 3 fixed objectives? I was like, why do you get to do 3 of them? Okay. Honestly, it would be nice if you could pick Cull the Horde, and if there's literally no hordes in the game, you could have another one, right? Because you have to have at least one character in the game. But okay, so we're doing Purge the Foe for this one. Makes sense. Interesting. So we're doing Murder Talon Raiders and Deceptors. So we're doing some Night Lords. Is this what you're doing for your Crusade detachment stuff? Deceptors. Masters of Misdirection. Is that so? That's the new Murder Talon Raiders, because Deceptors is the first one. Oh my god. Oh, that's a fun one. It's one you're considering. Nice. I do love the 20 cultist mobs that gain infiltrate. So you've got, because you would have 3 of these that would gain infiltrate, right? Because that's how it works for strike forces. You get 3 with infiltrate for Deceptors. Pull up Deceptors on my phone since new recruit won't let me look at stratagems. Oh, interesting. So you get cultist mobs and you get legionaries. Nice. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 infiltrating units at the very beginning of the game. With the 2 dark communes. Nice. Lord with jump pack, master of executions. Audio hates me. So we've got Soul Link here on this. On this last character. So are these 2 guys attached? And the attached characters? So, because the only thing it just doesn't tell me is what is attached. I can obviously tell that the 10 Raptors is going with the Chaos Lord. Warp Talons are by themselves. I like those, by the way. It's a good idea. 10 Nemesis Claw, nice. Getting thematic with the Night Lords. 10 Chosen are sick. But my only question is, you've got these 2 Masters of Execution. Can you attach support characters without a leader character? I just don't know. I think you can, because I was working on some CSM yesterday, so let's try and do that. Okay, yeah, so you can, okay, so you're just adding the support characters onto there instead of having an actual leader on top, which isn't a bad idea. So the Soul on the Chosen, Master of Execution on the non-infiltrating Legionary squad. So would he not gain infiltrate for being a part of the squad if you wanted to? Because he technically would gain the battle line keyword for infiltrating that one. So you just don't want to have him in the infiltrating one for that one. That's fair. Because these 220 bricks, I mean, these 220 bricks are going to be good. Only 3 squads get infiltrate. Right, but that's what I mean is, like, do you want to, because you have 2 legionaries, right? So technically, because it's 3, is it only 3? Because what I saw on this thing for the reference, it says and. So because it says up to 3 units of cultists, right? So both of your legionaries would be able to infiltrate if you wanted them to, right? Because your 2 cultists would gain infiltrate. I could as an alpha strike. It just depends. That makes sense. Okay. Because that's, oh, no, yeah. And any character excluding epic heroes. He's not an epic hero. So yeah, that was the thing, because because that was the thing that I saw was interesting too. This one allows you to do 6 total infiltrating squads if you wanted to, right? So right now you've got a total of 4. I think 4 is great. You, because that's the thing, is at a certain point, right? Like the infiltrate squad will go. You'll be like, all right, I got 6 infiltrating squads, and then you'll be like, I don't want to infiltrate all 6 of them. It's like. So that's one of the reasons I like what you're doing with the 4. The 220 cultist mobs obviously are going out on objectives. It makes sense. I can see that. Then the 10 legionaries potentially being behind them, right? Excuse me, sorry. Like, I would definitely, like, excuse me, sorry, man, had just a burp in my throat that I couldn't get out. So, and you said with the Soul Link on the Chosen, for the Soul Link, because the Soul Link allows you to pick another data sheet and basically say that that's the data sheet, right? Which data sheet are you choosing for the Soul Link enhancement? See that 6-inch consolidates for some cheeky overrun? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Um, so which one does that? Which one does the 6-inch? Oh, we got a new post. More stuff. Because which one does the 6-inch consolidate? I just don't remember which one. Is that the Master of Executions? No, that doesn't make sense because he would be on Master of Executions. But do you get to choose to use it or not in each command? So you're stealing. So my question is, when you do that, would you have to not attach him to the Chosen because he's now a jump pack lord? Or is it that he just gets to take the abilities of that one? I just don't understand. Soul Link was one of those that when I played with it, I didn't completely understand. Because it's a strange one. Okay, so it's just the data sheet abilities. Okay, I see what you're saying there. Interesting. So you'd steal that 6-inch pylon and consolidate for the. Well, yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. That sounds really nice. That's really weird. What a weird and strange. Yeah, I had to be careful. Yeah, because it's like specific model, but it's the data sheet of that specific model. Yeah, because I was checking it myself just to look and just understand the wording of it, but it says the data sheet ability specifically. So you wouldn't take like the movement a characteristic of it. You would just take the pilot and consolidate in the. Ooh, smart. It also makes it that if you don't really want to bring this jump pack in yet, right? You don't want to use his Lord ability. You'd also get his Lord ability on your Master of Executions as well. So you potentially you can keep this guy in your back pocket and have him do all of these stratagems. Which let's look at some of the stratagems for this one. I know the one thing I do know about this one is it does have one of my favorite stratagems in the entire game, in which if your character, I believe that it's um okay, it's an enemy model. It's not yours, unfortunately. But basically, any 1 CP detonators just after an enemy model with a deadly demise ability is destroyed. One Heretic Astartes character unit from your unit from army that is within 18, you basically just auto inflict it, and you basically just blow them up. And I love that. It's so fun, especially when people are wanting to bring things like defilers and rep X's and things where it's like, I got D6 damage on these mortals. And the fact that you can be 18 inches away and force them to blow up and kill their own stuff, that's a scary thing to be able to do for free, especially attaching them to those chosen with advanced fallback, shoot and charge, the Emperor's Children rule, right? But better. You will absolutely be able to get within 18 inches of those abilities, and that is a really good way to get that free CP on that one. Man, yeah, we will. I just got a notification about the new Oath of Moment army rule thing going on. We won't talk about that yet until it's confirmed because I don't know yet. We're not speculating. We might speculate on it, but it's fine. But yeah, Cult Demagogue. I like the Cult Demagogue. Getting that 5-up invuln is really nice. What else do they do? What else do the Court Demagogue do? What does the Demagogues do? Oh, that's fine. We'll find out because I. Okay, thank you. I was like, is that what they do? They do that. They also have a 5-up, and they give you your cultists can advance advance and charge, right? Which is nice. But each time you make an attack, you add one to the hit one and add one to the wound roll. I remembered why I bought these guys. They're nuts. So Cultists already hit on 5s, right? Cultists hit pretty badly. It's either 5s or 4s. Yeah, it's 4. So you go down to 3s, which is nice. +1 to wound. So you're going to potentially wound on 4s, maybe 5s, right? So for me, I think this is a great unit because that's the thing is like the only other thing that I would genuinely put this on is probably a Curse Cultist, but I'm a Curse Cultist lover. I love a Curse Cultist and I love maxing out a Curse Cultist and playing them as maxed out a Curse Cultist. So the only thing I would switch them with is maybe a Curse Cultist, which at that point you really can't get the same value out of those Curse Cultists because you're getting 20 for 90. Like getting 20 Cultist Mob for 90 points is really, really nice with a 5 of Invuln. The +1 to hit, +1 to wound, I see what you mean. It doesn't really do, it's not going to affect much in the game, but those reroll dark packs are going to be nice. But in all honesty, I really don't even see you using these guys for much of your fighting because you've got 10 Legionaries there. You've got 10 Legionaries there. Most of them using chain swords with a couple of big guns in there to do some damage. You've got a Predator Annihilator. Nice. It's exactly what I would bring too. 10 Chosen. The way perfect. Exactly. Yep. This is exactly how I would do it with the way they build. The 10 Nemesis Claw I really like. My only question is there any value to making those as 2 5-mans rather than a 10-man? That's the only thing that I could think of. Yeah, I'm missing force decision and tying people up with Marines so I can start messing people up. That's true. Because with that big group as well, you only have to be in engagement and then they have to get through at least these 4 guys probably before you want to even take the Voice Eater. So that does give you the ability to say, hey, I don't want this big reason why I'm bringing them, the Voice Eater, making it so they can't use any of their stratagems and stuff. It's smart to bring that big 10-man. Might be worth checking to see if maybe a 5-man would be nice, just to see if you can get some actions. But you also do have your cultists to do the actions. So I mean, I wouldn't be super worried about it personally. 10 Raptors. Yep. 4 Astartes chain swords, mutations, and with a bunch of right. Oh god, I forgot they could all get heavy melee weapons now. Yeah, I'm definitely picking up some Raptors when I play some CSM because those 4 have I'd keep them in a 10 brick. I'd keep them in a 10 brick, especially if you're gonna have that 6-inch consolidation. It's mostly a jump to Humper since they stack cover and -1 to hit. That's true. Well, do they have -1 to hit or do they just have stealth? Because if they have stealth I believe is now only benefit of cover. But let me pull that up and see if that's for sure changed, because I do remember people talking about stealth. They have both. Oh, sick. Okay, cool. Then they're good. I'm just gonna double check stealth so I'm not giving somebody the wrong information. But that's awesome that they have both. I did not know that they have both, which is good. I need to finish up painting my Night Lords, my Nemesis Claw. Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't even have to look up the core rules. Unfortunately, yeah, stealth is now just benefit of cover, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, adding 1 to the hit roll, adding 1 to the wound roll is really nice. That's really nice, especially with the new detachment. No, you're totally good. You are totally good. They have stealth. They for sure have stealth. They just don't have the -1 to hit, which is okay. I think you can probably give it to them in that detachment. Share this tab. Yeah. I'm trying to see because Murder Talon should be on page 4. If things will load. But no, you're totally good. Like in all honesty, there are so many abilities and there's so many rules in this game that it's like when I talk about Noise Marines and I talk about them having -1 battle shock that you can give them. It also has -1 leadership, which like you normally wouldn't think about, right? Or wouldn't really care about because it's kind of the same thing at that point. But You might just get the mini so they stack all those buffs. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Because the +1 to hit and then reroll. Because this one too, you get if you're that's only fly units targeting a battle shock unit. You get reroll hits of 1. So that might be a good idea. Personally, I do really like if you don't want to use the legionaries if you want to use them for all of your, and this is and you see guys, this is why we do this. We talk these things through because sometimes this game is too complicated. Your warp talons, yeah. Lance, that is the thing I'd be scared about with that big brick. That Lance a +1 to wound is nice. Where did you go? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, because if you wanted to instead take the Master of Executions off that Legionary unit and dump them in the middle, that is another kind of like I was talking with Machine earlier about having those bait units, right? And as I'm seeing with some of the things with this list is that you have a lot of bait units, which makes it so that these big 2 bricks of 10 chosen in the Nemesis Claw, which are essentially chosen, and the Raptors and 2 Warp Talons. I mean, these 3 units are obviously going to be up in space. You've got these 2 bricks that they're going to want to worry about, that they're going to want to deal with at the beginning of the game, but they can't because they're going to be hidden, of course. So they're going to have to deal with 20 cultists, 10 and 20 wounds of legionaries just to get through to all of the rest of your other stuff. I can see where this is all going. It's almost like you play a unit with a bunch of baits or something. Yeah, well, I got to let the audience know, okay? The audience of just you right now. But I like it. I think it's really fun. What does the Cursed Pinions do again? Let's see what it does. Cursed Pinions, Demon, and +1 attack. Okay, so this is my question with that one. What is up with this demon? What is up with this demon keyword for this one? Why does this matter that it has demon? Does anybody have you seen the other does it say anything of the other stuff about demon? Because the only thing that I remember seeing and talking about demon was the vehicle one, where the demon vehicles would gain that keyword. Yeah, it's some sort of downside. I wonder if it's a downside for a future detachment, right? Where there's going to be a Chaos Space Marine one in the future where it's demons get a negative or something. I don't know. Because there's nothing right now currently that forces that demon keyword to be good or bad, right? I could see it would make sense if all you're getting is +1 attack, that the demon is something good, right? Because obviously he activates anti-demon. It has no other effect. Yeah. He's a demon so that the other demons are like, whoa, bro. I'm not gonna demon with you. I just had extra points. Yeah, no, I mean +1 attack is nice. This is just me curiosity-wise going, what are they planning, right, for us? Because this is a big indicator of what they're planning. Obviously, demon keyword in Chaos Space Marine Codex is gonna mean something for us. As of right now, it means nothing. But it is interesting because I know for me, if he was an Emperor's Children enhancement, that this demon keyword would allow me to say let's say I was playing Court of the Phoenician and I added in a detachment that allowed me to put that demon keyword on something. Well, it would mean that I could re-roll charges within 6 inches of that guy for a CP. So I wonder if it's going to be something where there's going to be a specific maybe a Word Bearer's demon detachment coming out in the new codexes and stuff. And one where it's becoming possessed gives you more bonuses. And if you add the Murder Talon Raiders, he's just auto possessed at the beginning of the game, which gives him some sort of +1 toughness, +1 save or something like that, which especially could be cool. Right. Oh, what would be super fun is if they did that and they gave you a save of 7+, but then an invuln of 4. So it was the weird way that they do demon saves of he's kind of changed into a demon, so the way that his body works is different. I think that would be very neat, but very much that's me just wishfully thinking, because that would be cool. But to move back to what your list is talking about here, like this is a solid. This has got some really solid fun stuff. I really think that I think the 20 cultist mob, as much because I know you at this point. I know that you put these 20 cultists because you love the 20 cultists. I know how much you want to run 40 cultists. So I think that the fact that this is gonna be like a really because what. Oh my lord! Yeah, this is why I think that curse pinion, that demon keyword, has to be a positive at some point. That's a 20-point enhancement for +1 attack and demon. That's gotta mean something at some point. That's gotta mean something. That's way too good. Never. No, never. It's not like you also play guard, right? Like, but hey, at least here, at least you're not paying 145 points for 20. My lord. That is crazy that they're gonna give you 20 cultist mob and then say that's 90 points. But then 20 catachans, which basically do or not catachans, Cadians that do the exact same thing, but have some specialer weapons are 145. I don't know if a plasma gun is 150 points, or you could have just point cost the plasma guns. Whatever. GW, if you're seeing this, you can hire me to write this stuff. You can hire me. I am hireable. Okay. Yeah, I will say, can you increase the amount of trader guard? Can you make it a 20-point thing? Because if you could, then that would be nuts. Because also that's because their ability is way better. They get like free overwatch. No, what do? They always get benefit of cover. That's what it is. They always get Benny a cover. Oh, they're only 10 mans. That sucks. But I guess it kind of makes sense if you just don't have that many chaos guys. But you already had cultists. I am deeply saddened by the fact that they've stripped chaos guard out of the chaos book because chaos guard was so cool. It was such a sweet thing. Yeah, the only thing I wonder if, especially if you're changing that master of execution off, you could. They get cover on objectives, which is redundant. Oh, that is extremely redundant. That's so redundant. Yeah. Because even if you had ignores cover, I mean, it wouldn't give them benefit of cover. Wow. Yep. We're waiting on the Chaos Codex. And this is where my concern of 11th edition and the way that they decided to do it kind of creeps back in. Because again, they're like, you're getting all your codexes the same. I was like, are you going to update the stuff to make sense? No. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. But that is redundant. I would put him with a Augurin / Commissar so that you could give him Overwatch for free, which is fun. Because nobody gets to reroll anymore. Which, yeah, not being able to reroll your Overwatch is not as good anymore, very much so. I tried it on Saturday with a Archon that got lethals and sustains and then also could reroll the entire hit roll. Ooh, it was not the same. It was not the same as how it used to be. So I'll be the first one to say it after trying Overwatch. It's just not the same. But my only thinking is, like, if this Master of Execution, yeah, like, it's good that we get our codexes because I like some of the stuff that's already in them. I just think that they could have done a little bit more work to make sure that those books were perfect for 11th, especially since they've probably had the 11th rules confirmed for 6 months at this point now because they had to get it out to shipping and to printing and all that stuff. So I wonder how much of this is already pre-made, right? And then they have to go back and change it because they're printing all these books. Who knows? Let's see. Yeah. It costs a lot in the rules, which isn't good, and that sucks. This is where I'm wondering maybe splitting this unit up into a 5-man each, right? Might be very handy for this, just because if you are already not going to attach that Master of Executions anymore because you don't have that same benefit, where it might be better to put him over at the Nemesis Claw getting the rerolls. it might be a good idea to split this up into 5-mans, right? Getting another infiltrating squad. So you've got 2 5-mans, a 10-man, and 2 20-mans of going up to 5 infiltrating squads. That gives your opponent, that makes your opponent have to think a lot about stuff, and it also blocks off pretty much any scouting that they can do. Like, you've pretty much, once you get 5 units on the board that way, you can't scout. You just don't scout. It's just not possible. It's intriguing. I might try and play a mock list similar to this and see what it's like splitting those up and seeing how the infiltrating is, because I am thinking about infiltrating like 2 or 3 units of tormentors myself in my own list. So I'm curious on if you can max out your battle line infiltrating, if it gives you that really early game leg up, to, or whether it's maybe just detrimental and kills you instantly. That's my biggest interest, is maxing out the infiltrating better for you, or is what you already have perfect? Because what you already have is great. It's really sick. This is the one problem I'm having with this Monday morning talk show that we're doing. You guys are really good at making lists. Ooh, that is a very good point. Because personally, that's what I'm bringing right now in my CSM list, is 1 or 2 units of Corsairs. Because it's also 3-man, it's also 3 wound infiltrators too. Really, really tough infiltrators with +1 OC on them as well, I think, which could hit those really nice points for what you're trying to do with the legionaries anyways. But I wonder if where the sacrifice of that unit would be is not in the legionaries, but in one of your other squads, which is kind of unfortunate, because I wouldn't want the Chosen to go down. I wouldn't want the Nemesis Claw to go down. But maybe the Chosen going down for some infiltrating units. Maybe 1 more infiltrating unit to get you up to 7. Because I don't know. I'm curious on how the infiltrate spam is. Because right now, I mean, like, infiltrate is insanely good when it comes to, like, if you have anything that stickies and doing that, like those cultists. Yeah, anytime that you destroy a unit until the end of the battle, if this unit's not battle shocked, you get OC 3 on each of these guys. So you could set them up for a very early kill, right? Like if your opponent has like Space Marine Scouts or something like that, getting you the +1 OC at the very beginning of the game would be very nice. I think there's also, yeah, like that's really interesting. I think that might be where you could flex them in with the Nemesis Claw, because the Nemesis Claw is 190 points, right? I think it goes down to 110 once you stop adding more guys, because that could be a nice thing of you removing 3 chain swords and then maybe the missile launcher and an accursed weapon, right? Because you still have the chain glaive, which is really good. Yeah, especially since, yeah, because if you're playing Purge, you don't need your home objective whatsoever, right? Because like the way that I've played, especially when it comes to Purge with Emperor's Children, right? Since I no longer have to touch my home objective except for defend stronghold, I never do. And one thing that I try and coach Emma on sometimes when she's playing her Harlequins is that if I as a faction melee, very melee focus, am able to just keep moving forward, right? Keep pushing forward, then there's a chance that I'm going to win just because of the fact that I don't have to go backwards at all. I can keep going forwards. And the cool thing about these infiltrating and these deep strike units is that you can force me or any other melee opponent, or even some shooting opponents that are more mid-range shooting, you can force them with these 3 units to say, I can't leave my back end completely empty, right? While also going, but I also can't stay back there because I've got all of these guys basically taking the middle of the board, right? I do think it'd be better to keep the Legion so they would the threat, since 5-mans are basically just be for screening. That is genuinely fair. Because like even when I've used my Tormentors and the little 5-mans, they're nice and they can do good, but it's a lot of hiding them and having one dude left taking objectives and hopefully battle shocking through. So that is true. You also do get the ability where if they don't kill all 5, you're still unbattle shocked, right? If they kill only 4 of these guys, you don't have to start taking battle shocks. So I do agree with you there that the 10 legionaries maybe should stay as that. I think maybe one could split if you wanted to have that more of be so of a like kind of like how I was talking with Machine about being a baiting. I think you're right about keeping the 10-man for sure. I think maybe this could be flexible. Maybe. This is very maybe because I don't know for sure. This one could be a little flexible, I think. But either way, starting out with 4 infiltrating units of 20 wounds apiece on the board is a big, like, hey, if you don't have any infiltrators or scouts, you're going to have to push forward. So I like it a lot, especially having a Predator Annihilator just to kind of deal with the tanks, right? Something small, something Rhino chassis. It's not super big. You can hide it really. I mean, you could even in some maps hide it in your hide it in your home objective, right? Like, you know, like that's something that you could potentially do with a lot of that. I think then maybe bringing down, if you wanted to add some more infiltrators, maybe bringing down the Chosen or the Nemesis Claw could be good. Maybe. Sorry about that. But yeah, like it is. I think this is a really good list, and I think the hardest thing about this list is I think it's really hard to change because it's very well set up. I think these 2 bricks are something that you could maybe change up if you wanted to, but I think that it's one in which that it would need to test to see if those would work, because right now those work, right? It's more of just trying to see if you can give yourself the flexibility, but also I'm partially thinking about this almost like a 10th edition player, where I'm not completely thinking about it where it's like, yeah, I do forget that you only have Purge the Foe that you have to do, where your actions that you're having to do are going to be a lot less because you have that Purge the Foe. So I am kind of thinking like a 10th edition player going, oh, well, maybe you could have some more stuff. And it's like, well, maybe just having these bricks survive is enough to where even having 2 more infiltrating units could be nice. Might be something to try. But I really, yeah, it's the funny thing about this show being about working on lists and talking about lists when this is already a really, really great list for this one. Like, I really like this brick of battle line. I really enjoy this. I think that like because for me, this is probably one of the scarier options that I can see in the table of like, oh my God, this is what I have to deal with. Right. Because at a certain point, if I just can't kill those squads, right? Because a lot of us build towards triple defiler lists, big Catans, things like that since coming out of 10th. I think a mass infantry list like this will definitely shake a lot of like people who are playing against CSM up, because most people when they play CSM, you play a lot of elite units, you play Terminators, you play Chosen, you play that, and this one has so little amount where it's like the elite units are there and they're very brutal, but it's these battle line things that you just can't ignore. The tank is thin on covering my anti-tank for last games. Yeah, as somebody who runs like 1 or 2 of those in my because I usually just run 1 Predator Annihilator and maybe have a Forge Fiend or something. Yeah, like what you would probably be able to do, which would be really nice, is you could soften up a target and then send it in with the stuff that can already do well against those things. Like Raptors with heavy melee weapons. I mean, those are strength 8, you know, like strength 8 with +1 to wound. I really like the mass gamble because, I mean, when we look at some of these boards, right? Because I think I should have the ability to see some of the boards in the event companion, right? Like, because the biggest thing is these boards, right? These are all the boards that we're going to be using. Not in this one. Where is it? That's maybe this one. Because I know they had 2 event companions. There we go. Yeah, this one that's loading like crazy probably is the other one. There we go. Yeah. So like, these are taking hold ones. Yeah, by the way, if you are looking for anything that could be really fun, maps and stuff like this, on Warhammer Community.downloads, the Warhammer Event Companion has all of these if you don't want to use the Warhammer app for all of your stuff, and it also tells you which dispositions go into which, and they have, like, if you see on this side of the screen, they have like 40, 45 pages of maps and dispositions. So every single one of those should be able to find your matchup and be playable if you're not using the app. Um, yeah, where you're playing battle with and pushing on many objectives that actually need some effort to kill. And like that is where I think it could be good because you also aren't sacrificing. Like, let's take this one where you're playing a Purge the Foe. The mission is Destroyer's Wrath. I'm like, oh my God, I have to go get my mission deck out to read what Destroyer's Wrath is, or we can just Google. Well, maybe not Google. That would probably be stupid. See what we can do with that one. Doot. More units to distribute here in Overwatch. Basically, you kill more stuff. All right, whatever. We'll figure out what that does. Don't matter. Basically, like if we like look at this, right? There's so little for where you to hide in this matchup, right? Like if you had all of your big bricks of guys and they weren't all infiltrating, you could probably hide them here, right? Probably hide them maybe in here a little bit with that barely one. You could probably hide them pretty much decently here. Your opponent being able to go over there if they're fast, going over there and getting cover if they're fast, like right. You can hide some stuff in the back, but this map would be great for you. I mean, toss a 20 brick here, toss a 20 brick here of cultists, put legionaries behind it here, legionaries behind it here, right? Stage your jetpacks and stuff. Maybe not even jetpacks, but just chosen things to where you can take these other objectives that they have to deal with and then start moving the cultist bricks up into places where normally, right, 6 inches, if you were here, would be a potential problem because you can potentially end up being right here rather than being on the terrain plate. But yeah, like you could get those 220 bricks here, sticky both of these, or even just sticky the earlier ones on here and force your opponent to have to come down this way while you send stuff up this way just to take it. You know, even just throwing a tank onto this objective allows you to shoot all of into that, or even just putting it up here allows them to have to deal with that tank first. And then while they're all dealing with having to push out forward, you've got right all back here. I wish I had a marker. Um, like you can have all of this area right back here for dropping in and taking this objective again, completely abandoning your home. Like there's so many things that like that mass infiltrate will do. Cause like even just forcing 20 there and there, like, you know, that'll help out quite a bit. Cause that's the 9-inch line from their deployment there. So like yeah, you got a little bit more. But like still, like this is a really, really good map for that one. I mean, let's look at something like this, right? Even here. Infiltrate cultists up here, infiltrate cultists up here, infiltrate them maybe in here. Maybe not in here where you can get shot easily, but right here would be a great one to where you can just walk onto there. Ooh, that's a good idea. See, we're learning together, guys. Is it called paint? Is it just paint now? Sad. Yeah, we'll put that there for now. Save map. We'll call this map C. Dude, yeah, we'll pull that in there. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. We're learning. Thank you. That's a great idea. Downloads. Where did you go, layout C? I just downloaded you. Where did you go? I'm not good at computers. I'm not the greatest at computers sometimes. Maybe I could just drag. No, I can't. But yeah, could deploy them in the middle, leave a gap in the middle where they wouldn't be on cover. Yeah. Right? So like right there, you could deploy them here. You could deploy them right in there. Still get benefit of cover. You could even put these guys up against the wall and have some like even putting them right here, putting them where you can balance that. They just need to be next to one dude in the whole unit within 9 inches. Exactly. Yeah, like they only need to be within that tiny bit of each other, and like you can have like because you can't go like crazy far, like you can't go like in like on each other's objectives, right? Like there's a way you have to do it. But yeah, I mean, like, there's not a big problem with doing that. You could have that both of these stickied, have this one stickied early on, and then have legionaries popping up to where even if you do destroy this thing in the middle, you now have to worry about whether or not they sent enough or if they sent too much, right? Because some like me, I would send too much. And then I would end up having to deal with the cultists that I maybe don't kill, but then getting jumped by 2 bricks of Terminator, 2 bricks of legionaries, which are already scary on these objectives because they get reroll ones in general, but now reroll entire wounds. And then you can just very easily go, okay, well, Chosen can go up here and they can come and take this one in just a second. But then, like, oh my God, look at all that backline. Yeah, forcing, like, you really do force your opponent to come out of here. Because like they have to touch this objective, right? Or else you're going to take all 3. Like, this is a good list for especially forcing people out. I think would be something that would make this really, really strong. I think let's definitely look at some purge versus purge missions on that too. So like even this one, right? There's so much cover, See if I can try and save this one. Maybe I'm just saving it to the wrong folder. That's where you're going. You're going to the wrong folder. Layout B. That's why it wouldn't do that, because it was going to the wrong folder. We're all learning today. Okay, what the heck? Oh, it won't let me. I'd have to change it from a PDF to a image. That's why it's not working. Oh, no. Nah, I won't be able to. Yeah, I know. Yeah, lots of pressure is the big thing about it. Like, there's got to be annotations. Can I make annotations then? Let me make annotations. Okay, that's fine. Is that? Yeah, we figured it out. All right, we did it. Perfect. So yeah, like, see, I promise y'all we're learning this. I promise. So like you can infiltrate cultists here, infiltrate them like right there, right? And you have some pretty good gaps because again, if they don't shoot, right, you still have the whole 15-inch rule to where they're going to have to come over here to shoot you in there because they're going to need that 15-inch bubble. So you can get them in like that kind of. Let's erase that basically. Doot, doot, doot. Right. And that's just cultists, right? That's just the cultists. Have all your jetpack guys show up back here, right? And now you've got them fighting that 2-front war, right? Where they're having to go, oh no, I can't just send everything back. And I mean, if you're doing purge the foe, it's going to be a lot easier for some guys to come out. But yeah, it's that pressure, right? That big pressure that you can cause where you're forcing people to come here, even putting like legionaries back here in these little pockets, right? Pockets like right back here allows you to be able to defend these guys super easily, and you just have so much more control of the board. And if you have control of the board, it's your game, right? Like once you force them to go where you want them to go, it's your game. Like once they can't make their own game plan, like yeah, two big 40 cultists, you need to kill those. And the problem is that means you have to succeed on 40 dice rolls. it's you have to succeed 40 times. Which, like, for mine, if I bring like a big brick of tormentors, I'm only bringing 40 attacks with a lord, right? 40 attacks and then the lord. So I would have to succeed on every single one of them in order to kill that without even worrying about the 10 man that's sitting back here off the base plate, because you can gain benefit of cover, right, from being off the base plate. It is just either you need to be like that, right, where you're all off the base plate but they can't see you, or you're on the base plate. So you can set your legionaries up too, like that, all hugging that little board piece and not visible, unless somebody walks onto here, which then you get the benefit of the fact that they walked onto there or walked onto there, and then your tank could even just be right here and go shoot, pew, right? Lots of fun stuff that you can do with that one. And that's just that. This is just the 4 units. This isn't even talking about the giant group of raptors that can show up in their zone and put that pressure on. Because, like, in my opinion, and you can correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, that was goofy. That was probably what's his name's fault. What's his name? Freud. It's probably a Freudian slip. Me thinking you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just being mean. Like, because you're if you're blue, right? Because Night Lords are blue. Like, this should be yours by turn 3 if you're doing well. Like, if you're doing well, this is where your opponent's unit should all be. They should all be stuck in this middle part, right? Because you can put that pressure on very early, and then you have the late game pressure too. Yeah, lots of pressure is the name of the game for you on this one. Because, yeah, like, so, like, if we look at it, right? Yeah, the first part of that is literally just these 4 guys. Oh, right. I forget that you also have the Mind Witches on there. So now each of these guys have 5 of. Oh my God. So they've got 5 of Invulns on top of that. So not only that, your AP won't just auto pick these guys off. So you can't auto pick the guys off, right? Oh man, that's nasty. The only one that you could really like auto pick off potentially is these legionaries, but even then you would just set them up to be in a spot where you just don't pick them off. That's really fun. That's cool. I like that list a lot. I think it's a lot different than what you would normally see in a traditional meta. And I think it's something in which I think you're on to something that might be really impactful coming into the edition, because if you have the ability to do all that, there's a very difficult chance that your opponent's not going to be able to do much, especially with the hidden rule in the 15 inches. Like, because your guys are all getting that hidden from just being like on these terrain plates. I mean, those cultists are it's gonna take a lot to shoot them. That might be a good reason why you might want to end up putting like some of the guys in here, right, for legionaries. But you have plenty of options. Like, you could even put this is the and this is a goofy thing. So when we're talking about benefit of cover, right, and hidden, guess what can count for hidden? So if you have like 5 guys, and this is where the 5 guys might be worth it, you could actually, if you can see those blue dots, if you can fit those 5 guys onto that base plate, they get hidden. That means that anything shooting at them from that angle, right, because they're hidden behind this green piece, they also get the 12-inch version. So if you have a cultist squad in here, that means they can't get shot within 12. Cultist shot, so they have to be shot within 12. Yeah, so like, it's that pressure, man. This is a very scary pressure army. Honestly, if you weren't losing the infiltrate for doing that switch, I feel like the battle shock one that forces battle shock, the battle shock detachment for this one could be also really good if you maybe replaced all of this. If you replace that with like some what are they called? The Red Corsairs infiltrators that we were talking about earlier. The what are they called? I can't remember what the name is, but those guys specifically. You could also potentially replace this brick because you've got what 170, 170. Bringing the calculator back up. Okay. Weird. This calculator no work. Okay, we got a broken calculator, guys. Got a broken calculator. It's fine. You know what they say, guys? There's no dead air unless I say there is. 70 times 2, 340 plus 90 plus 90. So that's 520 points that you can play with if you want to go outside of Deceptors. Because I think they're just called Red Corsair squats. Yeah, I think so. They're like Raiders or something. I think that's what it is. I can't remember now. But like that is the cool thing is that you can take this brick out if you don't want to play Deceptors and just swap 500 points to something else in, and this still works, right? Because all of these, even then, you could, actually, you get to play with more than that. Because I forgot about the Dark Commune units. Because Dark Commune is another 90 points. By the way, why is it that every time I click calculator, it says that there's a new calculator up, but then every time I click it, it just doesn't work? So we got 170 times 2 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90. That's 700 points that you get. I also don't think playing Battleshock Casino is what I want to do. I would rather be aiming to just pick up units. That's fair. That is super, super fair. I don't blame you for doing that. But this the nice thing is that the way that this is built, right? You've done a fantastic job of setting yourself up for a really good like murder talent to set into something else, right? So even if you don't want to do the other one, right? The other one, you could keep Masters of Misdirection and Murder Talent Raiders, and if you wanted to go into, because you're not using any if you wanted to even go into Huron, the Renegade Warband one, if you wanted to go into having advance and charge on everything in the army, right? And you want to switch these out with fast moving units where you will get to those points, but you'll get them into halfway through turn one and don't want to infiltrate. So that's my point with that, is that like you've set this up in a really great way to where you also don't need to worry too much if you're like, I don't like this one, I'm gonna switch it out. You can just take that entire brick of characters and legionaries and cultists and swap them out for a different thing that you might want to play. Maybe it's 60 cultists, maybe it's 70 cultists, maybe it's as many cultists as you can physically run in the chaos one. Actually, also, this one would be really good potentially into the the Chaos Cult one that came out at the beginning of the book, because you have a lot of cultists and stuff in there, right? It's the cool thing of, it's not about like that this list shouldn't be played this way. It's the really cool thing of the way you've got it set up means that you have the flexibility of switching things out. Ooh, yeah, that's definitely one. I love Creations of Bile. That's one of my favorite. Like, that's probably the CSM detachment I would run because I'm a Fabius Bile nerd. I love Fabius Bile. So yes, let's absolutely let's do that next week for sure. I might be able to pop on Friday as well if there's not any news, from 10 to 12 as well. So we can do that one potentially then if you would like to. But this is where, like, if you wanted to add Trader Guardsman, I would add the Chaos Cult on top of it because it gives you the ability to do your Chaos Cultists if you want to do Night Lords and Chaos Cultists as well. But what is really cool is that you do get the ability to take this list, switch it out, and there's really not much that needs to change in order for it to work with other detachments too, which makes this brick of stuff, it's really, really solid. Like, this brick, I really wouldn't mess with much. Strength 5 chainswords, yeah, they are, as somebody who uses them in Court of the Phoenician, they're really, really solid. I really, really enjoy +1 strength chain swords. Um, you also should take a look at them because you can also add them to what's it called? Chosen and get your T or get strength 6 power weapons. Those are also really good. Fabius Bile's awesome. Yeah, we should definitely do one of those because I love Fabius Bile, and that's a list I know very, very well. But this is really cool. I really like the pushing forward the cultist mobs and using the characters in order to boost up these units that really just don't get seen super often in mass, right? You don't see mass cultist mobs as much. So I'm a really, really big fan of this list, and I find that it's not only real like you can do a lot with it with the pressure, but also it feels really, really thematic. Like one Chaos Predator, that's probably as much as your warband has. Maybe a Rhino, like especially if you're fighting constantly, right? You're not that Predator Annihilator is not going to survive super long if you're being a narrative warband. So there is something really fun about the fact that it's a giant brick of stuff rather than little individual units as you might have seen all throughout 10th edition, but also at the same time just having those cool cultists in which you're like, yeah, you have to kill all of them. And it's like, oh, it presents a new challenge to your opponent. And I like that. Right. I like that a lot. So I hope that you enjoy this list. I really enjoy it. I'm pretty sure you don't see mass cultists because it isn't cool. Yeah, I really like the cultist kit. But I also have I have the heavy weapons squad before they basically turn that one um into just the accursed cultist. Oh, trust me, I'm a cultist lover. I've got this guy back when he wasn't in his own box, but back when he was in the box with the guys with the machine guns. And I'm still very sad that I technically can't bring the big machine gun guys, the guys with the auto guns, because that was a really cool kit. And I unfortunately bought it right after the Codex release, and they indexed and Legends us. So we didn't get that. Well, we've gone a little bit over time that I've normally planned for, but I'm having a good time. We're having fun. So we'll just finish this up in the next 5 minutes because really there's not much else that I have to say on this. I really like it. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. From the 7th edition starter box. Oh, that's neat. I'm gonna look up the 7th edition starter box now and see. Yeah, you guys get to see all my searches. Don't worry. Don't worry. There's nothing bad. Jose actually just gave me one of them. Yeah, those cultists, that era of cultists was super sick. Okay, that's that's not what I intended, but okay, I just wanted to full screen that. Yeah, because these are the current chaos cultists, and they're okay. Um, these guys are super sick. Is this it? Are these it? These guys are super sick. Man, these are old. These ones are from 1999. Oh, I love this like chainsaw guy. I like this mask. I like they kind of look like wizards a little bit. These guys are super sick. This was the era right before. I like this bird mask. This era is super cool of cultists. These guys are super sick. I like this commissar looking dude. Oh, I see. This is the one you're talking about. This dude with the flamethrower right here. Let's see if I can pull that up. Yeah. Like, can I zoom? Dang it, no. But yeah, I'm like, is this the guy you're thinking of? This guy with the flamethrower right here? Because that looks like it. I think that's probably what you're talking about. But man, it I will say like there's some like I wish I could get my hands on some of these at some point because like that's a character right there. That's a character. All of these guys have some such good flavor. I love a good flavor on some chaos cultists. sold me their 7th edition Chaos F. That's so sick. The only time I've had something like that happen, it was amazing. Some dude just gave me like a box full of like Skaven, so I have an entire Skaven army now. But it's not as cool as Chaos Cultist, unfortunately. I wish it was Chaos Cultist. I want Chaos Cultist. Nice. Yeah, I can imagine so. I know I have to do that with some of my guys now. Cause like if we even look at my horrible little chaos guy that I'm like, he's tiny compared to like these are some of my old paint jobs. This is my old Emperor's Children. Back when the scale made kind of sense, right? Uh Brought my old Hellbrood out recently for a little comparison. So this one was fun. I need to actually get working on him again, and specifically clear out the base. But actually, I do have something that I've been working on that I do want to show off over here in this cabinet. I gotta move all my pile of shame and all my sprues. But I've been working on a second Fulgrim, and I recently have stolen bits from some of y'all to make this base. And you can't really see it super well, but I hope I can try and get it viewed. So this is the base I've been working on. Nice, dark apostles are so cool. So this is the base I've been working on, and I just kind of got a rough outline for what I want to do yesterday. So this is going to be the base for my new Fulgrim because I've gotten a little bit better in my painting, and I'm trying to do new things with it. So we see. Headphones these are? I swear to God. Full screen. Oh yeah. Good point. I didn't do that. That's probably a lot better to see. So this all here are certain bits. Yeah, I'm like, this is what we can do for that. And I'll probably do some, we'll do painting on Friday. That's what we'll do. We'll do some painting on Friday. We'll do a group painting session. That'll encourage me to do some painting too. So this is Fulgrim's base. If you see where all the where that Harlequin mask and the that mask is gonna be, right? That's gonna be where this way. That's where Fulgrim's gonna sit. But so all of this, if you can kind of see, is if I back up a little bit, it's all like a textured ground. Oh, you can barely see it. It looks a lot better in person. Thank you. So I'm a big Berserk fan, and I love the things that Ferrus Manus and Fulgrim are very similar in storyline to Guts and Griffith, and things where they obviously had some ideas that they took. So this bad boy right here is gonna be, it's like an eclipse, like the eclipse from Berserk kind of base, but it's all pools of blood. So my plan is to dry brush over some of these little areas to kind of give it that like brightness of fresh blood, and then going over it with some more blood. But uh I'm really proud of this, not specifically because of the coloring. Thank you I'm glad that you love it, that it's gross. That was the point. I'm so glad that it's gross. Yay, it's gross. Let me see if I can increase the light, and maybe that'll make it look a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Now we can see. Yeah, little Griffin theme. Little Griffith theme, right? But so all of this is like textured to make it look like guts and like that weird floor, if you've ever seen the anime, even to this point where it's like you see some of these hands that say that you very graciously gifted me are almost covered in that gore, to make it almost like this guy whose hand is chopped in order for Fulgrim's tail to rest, right where, right there. So I'll put my finger below it, right next to the fingernail. Um, That's where Fulgrim's tail will be, but it looks like blood's like coming out. And I'll be completely real. I came across this on accident, this idea. All this was super glue. All this is super glue. All I did was I took the super glue and I made a giant glob on top of that part of the base that I wanted to do. And then I shot it with as much air, much compressed air from the air gun, spraying it red as well on top of it, just to make it look even better. And it just literally went. If you got more bits, I'll take them. I'll take any bits you don't want to have or get rid of. But like, so if you were ever looking to do something where, because yeah, you can't. I'll have more pictures up once it's like fully done. But like, if you see there the texture, right? All of this is just taking that air gun and spraying it almost like right there to make those bubbles pop and then dry. And so you force the drying process as it's bubbling, right? You can kind of see right there, right above where my index, like this one right here. If you look right above that fingernail of the moving finger, that is just that little like wave is just a bubble of super glue that popped on itself. But it's been so sprayed with paint that it can't attach to anything else at that point now because it's all covered in paint. So it all forms these really weird like little squiggles of it all like compressing against itself. Like if you see on the like blood coming out of the wolfen arm, and it gives this really nasty, gnarly, like very Junji Ito when it comes to like the gore and guts. And I was going to keep this a secret until I was done with it, but I was looking at it like 5 minutes ago and I was very proud of it, so I wanted to show it off. But yeah, honestly, that's I think what we're gonna do on Friday then is we're gonna do a little painting, because I want to do some painting and I get bored not painting. Oh, well, how do we feel, everybody? We feeling good after all that? We feel like we've learned something. I feel like I've learned something today. Yes, please do. That would be nice. I need to organize my bits at some point, as I constantly have just boxes of sprues. Well, seems like I just double checked the Warhammer community news to see if we had any news for today. It looks like this is all that we're going to get is the ogre stuff. I think they're going to focus on ogres probably until next week, which is great. Ogre players, have your fun, have your time in the sun. You deserve it. But I really hope that they push forward 11th edition, especially since they've already kind of told us that they're going to wait. But beggars can't be choosers, right? We're figuring it out. I thought it was 3 years. So yeah. So yeah, that was, definitely we'll check out the organizer. Yeah, because that was the thing that I thought too, where it's like you only got 3 units of infiltrate for that. But you get way more than that. You can max out all your infiltrate. So as long as you max out battle line, you can max out infiltrate because it's both cultists and battle line or legionaries that get that bonus too, which is nuts. That's a crazy detachment. And I definitely want to try that at some point with Noise Marines. Unfortunately, though, Noise Marines would not gain battle line. Sad day. But well, I have been running this stream for about 2.5 hours, and my brain is getting fried on things I can talk about. Is there anything else you guys are interested in hearing about or interested in discussing before I boot off? Go have myself some lunch. Maybe write my next video today. I think we're all chilling. I really don't think there's anything going on. You know what? I did see something interesting. From Valrak just nowadays, because I don't really watch his stuff as much, but I do look at his headlines because they're interesting. Rumors are wrong? Let's take a little. Let's see. Yeah, they'd be limited by the 500 points anyway.
The new Orc or the new Space Marine reveal, but Games Workshop is not doing that today. We'll go through that later on in the video because they are going to be doing it more in the week. But
Okay.
I do sense a scam in that. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some rumors which appearing may be wrong. This is going to be a Reddit love fest because Valrak is wrong. And do you know what? I'll hold my hands up and I'll say
this is how we'll finish the stream. We'll see what's going on with this.
My vindication. So let's jump in and let's look
see
at
what
these rumors. Let's discuss
it. A good way to close
and let's
out
go forward to see where we are
Give us some
in this
40K
whole
news.
rumorverse. Please do remember that all the rumors that we're about to talk about are rumors. All rumors are lies, as I hope it's happening. But please remember, take them as 100% fact guaranteed.
I love
it's
how
happening.
I
But
10
please remember, rumors are rumors. Believe what you want to believe, but please take them for what they are, as rumors and not facts. So what in the Emperor's name is happening? What in the Emperor's name is all this about? Well, for the past few months, I've been yapping my mouth about certain Orc rumors, about certain Space Marine rumors, etc. And it seems some of that may have been proven wrong now. The first big one I want to talk about is a Kill Team box set, which again has been linked to new Orc stuff. Now, on the Orc side of this, we have now seen
we're seeing what's going on
unofficially, kind of official on a GW video, but not officially revealed. We've seen new Orc knobs. The rumor that was linked to the new Orc knobs is that apparently they were going to be coming in a Kill Team box, but with the way things have been going recently, it seems that that rumor is a fake rumor because the brand new Kill Team box that we got announced was the Ectodites versus the Beast Snaggers. So maybe that's what the wires got crossed when people got to say like Ectodites, maybe Orcs, and the Orc knob rumor got pushed into that one. Again, I'm trying to like connect these rumors all the way down. The streams got crossed, the wires got crossed. So
he's talking about
are getting new Orc knobs. I've done a personal video about that. I'll put the image up in the background as well so people want to see it.
See, this is the reason, and this is this is why I like doing this and why I like checking out other stuff and talking about it. This is the state of 40K right now. This is the state of what we're at right now, where we just had 11th edition launch, and now we're doing this stuff again, where we are looking for the smallest amount of information at this point, simply because they just won't give us anything, and you're like, oh my Lord. Like, I personally think this is probably the worst launch for an edition I've seen in a long time. Because it's just, it feels like it's just a total lack of support.
Those are brand new knobs.
Orc players should know when their codex is coming at this point. If they're the first ones, they should know.
On that page. And now it's basically just new knobs, and apparently it's not in a Kill Team box set. Hopefully, I'm not losing you. It's hard connecting this stuff together to make it make sense for this. A fake, but actually the Battle Orcs are getting new trucks and stuff. I think they look incredible. I think they look cool. But also, apparently in that video of the Q&A session, someone said, I can't find it. Maybe one of you guys can find it, like actually stopping the video. They said, Valrak, if you look in that book, there's a page, it goes to like the back of the book or something, where it shows the old Orc battle wagon model. Now, if that is the case, then again, I'm going to hold my hand. Old book. Hopefully, we'll see that very, very soon. Maybe it's going to be revealed in these big Armageddon reveals. Maybe, well, I'm hoping it's tomorrow. It may not be tomorrow. It may be Wednesday. It could be even Thursday or something. A lot of people ask, does that mean the Legion, the damn stuff, is also a fake rumor? I personally don't think so. I think that is going to be happening.
So I was just curious on what he meant there. I was like, which rumors were wrong? Because, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is it's a rumor. Like, I don't understand why we were taking Valrak at fact anyways, because he doesn't know. Like, he's also saying it's a rumor, which makes sense. Like, that's what he always says at the beginning of a video, is that it's a rumor. Like, it makes sense. What I'm curious about is, did y'all, and we'll end this on this, did y'all see that the fact that they're potentially going to change out the moment to the Gladius core rule, and that's been kind of circulating around? I'm intrigued about it. I think that, Legion of the Dam getting an upgrade spur, I think makes sense. I think maybe one kit. I think they'd probably do a kill team upgrade thing to like that, where it's like you do it as kill team, right? Play it in kill team. You get one unit of Legion of the Damned units, right? But it's such a strange one. I think with Exodites for sure coming out now, we're in such a weird spot of like anything is possible now. Anything is possible, right? Exodites came out. They said for years Exodites were not going to come out. Like years. They were like, no Exodites. Exodites are coming out. Steel Legion is getting a refresh, even though they told them that they wasn't going to get a refresh anytime soon. So we are doing work out here. Obviously, GW is listening to us, which is great. I appreciate that a lot. But it is interesting how we are in a new edition. We've been in a new edition for less than a month, and we just don't really know where things are going when they very clearly said like, hey, we're going to tell you what's going on, right? Like the last Q&A on Friday that we did that stream with was extremely disappointing. It just was really much nothing. It didn't really tell us much besides stuff for Old World and Necromunda, and those things are great. But at the same time, like Necromunda got a core set, so did 40K. Putting out a document on Friday or whatever it was, Thursday or whatever, saying, hey, here's your FAQ for your weekend, not for anybody else's, to me is a little strange. Maybe they're changing some things up, but personally, I've always been one to say that transparency is really good for this company, and they don't do it. Like when they gave us a roadmap, as frustrating as it was when it changed, at least we had some idea of what the future looked like. So I would really, really appreciate if GW would go back down the path of being a little bit more transparent about what they're planning or what they're thinking, besides just, hey, this is going to come out in 10 days. And you're like, okay, it's not out yet. Like, especially when we know there's probably going to be another price hike this year. We know they're probably going to release sets that they want us to buy a ton of. I mean, look at Armageddon, right? Armageddon went up in cost, right? The original set I think was like $250 for Leviathan. It's now like $290 or something, which is fine. Things go up in cost. You need more stuff, more money, pay people. I get it. Like capitalism is okay at times, right? But at the same time, if you're getting us to buy into something like that, buying a $300 box and then leaving us to deal with the support for a month and say, hey, you'll get it the month after the release, it's kind of okay. It's kind of not, especially when they have it already out. Yeah, they have. Yeah, they've spent a lot of community good, and we've given them a lot of benefits of the doubt. And it's getting to the point in time, like one of my buddies is very much thinks Trench Crusade is a GW killer. I don't think it's a GW killer. I think it is really good competition because of that big reason of them going, well, we have all this community good. You guys can get this in 10 days. When it's like, there was no reason to then put it out. Like, it feels like kind of a slap in the face to go, here's an FAQ for just Tacoma, right? Like, it feels kind of like you didn't have to post it as an article. You knew it was going to go to Reddit. So why not just post it, put it on your Tacoma, and then let us find it out, right? Versus this weird thing of doing, well, there's a Tacoma document. You guys can use it if you want to, but it's not official, and it's like weird. I mean, I'm very bribable. Thousands of dollars always works. Also, the cool spider tanks of K47. You know what? Because you've been a good sport. Before we end the stream here in a couple of minutes, I'll look up some K47 stuff for you. I know you want me to talk about K47 because K47 is cool. And I do know about K47. I just don't have money. I don't have money to buy multiple hobbies as I spit everywhere. But yeah, like that's my biggest problem with everything that's going on is it's less of the fact that like, oh, I need my new Emperor's Children model. I need this, I need that. And more of just like, guys, this is your biggest seller. This was a big deal. You made a massive deal about this, and you won't do it. Like, you've made a massive deal about this edition coming out, and it feels like you all went on vacation, right? When the real work started when the box dropped, right? Not the 3 weeks up to, like, from Adepticon up to the release of 11th edition was vacation time, right? Because now is the time to fix the stuff that you already had, right? And that feels like where the big problem in my mind is just, this is not the time to go on vacation and not put the best pedal to the metal. This is the time to support as much as you can, fix the problems early. Look at the things like the Trader Guardsman. You can't Legends the M1 Garand. That is true. I do agree with that. That's a good point. I know you're trying to bribe me as Emma's scarily looking at our wallet going, oh no, not Nick's wallet, please. Don't take more from it. But yeah, like, that's my biggest thing, is it feels like instead of putting their pedal on the metal when it comes to 11th edition, that they've backed off. And I feel like that's going to hurt them a lot. That's not bad. That is the nice thing too about Trench Crusade too, is like you could get 2 armies for the cost of the Armageddon. You could get all of them pretty much for the cost of the Armageddon box too. So let's take a look at some of these Conflicts 47s real quick, because I do think they're cool. But that's my rant on my problems with 11th edition. My problems with 11th edition are not anything in the rules. It is just, it's not finished yet. It's not a polished game, and there's a little bit of work that they need to do to make it polished. And the problem is that they're not doing that. Oh, and then my last thing on that. If Deathmire comes to a draw, like they were potentially saying it could at the Q&A, that better have been hyperbole. I swear, if you make your first edition campaign come to a draw and nothing happens, I'm not gonna do another one. I'm just not. Because what's the point? Why would I care about playing an army or playing in a campaign if you tell me at the end of it nothing mattered? It didn't matter at all. That sucks to me. Anyways, moving on to something more or less not me screaming at the sun. The real thing that Sada wants me to look at is the Conflict 47 dice. This is what we call the Warhammer killer. This dice set. I'm just kidding. Actually, it is very confusing that it looks like there's only 2 sides. So, just so you know, if he brings this dice out, I don't know if these are legal dice. But so Conflict 47 is an alternate universe World War II, or is it alternate universe after World War II? Because in 47, right? That's the date. A bust in a rift. I'm scared of that. That's not a word I thought I would see. I will say something about this tank screams AdMech to me. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the way it's painted, the red and the gold. But like, this tank screams AdMech to me. Does anybody else think that? Does anybody else feel like this tank screams AdMech? Like, maybe it's the cannon? Alt Universe World War II, where it basically keeps going. Oh no, that's not what we want to hear. You don't want it to keep going. So they nuked. Are there nukes in this universe? Did they nuke anybody? And they just kept going? Because I'm gonna be real. If they did just nuke them and kept them going, that is pretty baller. That is a baller move. Not what I recommend. I will say, I do love these spider tanks. Those are cool. Oh, this is neat. They're like mutants. What's going on with these guys? Okay. This reminds me of that movie that came out that was almost supposed to be like a Nazi zombies movie, but it was like Overlord, I think is what it was called. This gives me heavy Overlord vibes. Like, this tank, I'm gonna be real. I'd get it in the game for just these tanks. Getting nuked was planned? Oh my lord. That's not good. You shouldn't plan that. That's a bad idea. Getting nuked was planned is an insane thing to me. Oh my god, I can't believe they planned getting nuked. Let's see what the United States have got. So the United States is just Gundam. Is that what the United States is? Because like this is just Mech Warrior to me, and I'm in for it. I like also this like Plasma Thompson. The Plasma Thompson's cool. Yeah, we thought this was going to be a 2-hour stream. This might not be a 2-hour stream. This might be a 3-hour stream. So it looks like they only have getting nuked. Let them make Call of Duty Nazi zombies. Okay, that's weird and fair. Makes sense. So wait. So Germany gets nuked. Is that what you're saying? So Japan and Germany got nuked. Tesla and Jetpack. That is cool. A universe where Tesla is actually cared about. What? Robots. Oh, heck yeah. Robot artillery is cool. I will say that's really interesting. This turret encampment, I like that. It's almost like what's it called? Dawn of War, having actual like buildings and stuff. That's cool. The Fireflies are cool. Walkers, that's super sick. Werewolves, hell yeah, I'm in for werewolves. I'm always in for werewolves. More werewolves. More werewolves in fiction, please. The Japanese, of course, they made the Japanese look like Tau. That's funny. They both share a design aspect. Japan stole the nuke that was supposed to hit them. Oh my god. Okay, honestly, I'm more into this setting just for the drama of what happened than anything else. Like, they stole the nuke is hilarious to me. I heard Soviet muscle mommies, and that is awesome. I want more muscle mommies in game. Where are they? US Axis. US good to go bundle. We got a lot of bundles. I do like God, I can't think of the name. I like the Scorpion. Scorpions are cool. I like Scorpion mech. These mechs are sick. Oh, that's very old Warhammer-esque. Okay. That's all right. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Looks very similar to this commission I'm finishing up. Interesting. Taking the Tau. That's funny. That's cool though. Very neat. The Merlin is piloted by an AI. That's cool. See, okay, that is honestly one thing sometimes I feel like Warhammer kind of shut off super early and super fast. And as much as I do love the whole servitor thing, servitors are super cool. And I like the thinking brain computer. There is also just something so neat about just robots, right? Like a robot that you could put. All right. All right. Now you found me a robot man with spider legs, and now so these are all the bad guys. They're basically all evil zombie men. That's so cool. But yeah, I do wish that there was kind of like the AI and the kin are super interesting. Like I really like that idea in 40K. Excuse me. I just wish that they dived. That's another thing. I wish they dived a little bit more into it. And on top of it, these are all so cool. Hey, look, it's the Necrons. It's the Necrons. There they are. They're all the robots. I do really wish that they would I don't know, go a little bit more into that's cool, summoning ghosts. They go a little bit more into the AI and having this is where Dark Mechanicus needs to come back. This is where the Dark Mechanicus needs to show up because we need some other robots. I need more robots. I need more. Those are so cool. I need more. Who's Birdie? You said Birdie. Who's Birdie? Birdie? Is this Birdie? That's a Chimera. What the heck is this thing? Is this a tank? I'm sorry. Forms the Fell the Giant. Giant armored monster. I almost said unarmored. It has no rule. It has rules, but no model. Okay. So you had to make it yourself. Oh, I missed them? Okay, I can scroll back up. Oh, Daughters of the Motherland. Okay, here we go. Here we go. That's baller. That is super baller. That's cool that it's like an SD, like a terrain piece. Yeah, this is super sick. I love how like the AK is honestly like genuinely small compared to these women. Like she like hold it. It's like a Marine holding a bolter. You're like are you sure this was made for you? And they're like, no, it probably wasn't. It probably wasn't. Emerge shall be a block. Yeah, because like the minute I saw that there was a bunch of werewolves in there, I went, oh yeah, werewolves are cool. I am a Space Wolf player. They are the widows who are given gene enhancement to be propaganda pieces. That's really cool. That's super neat. There's something kind of like that in French Crusade, right? New Antioch has like a fallen army where it's like it's like the Crimson or something where they're all the members have lost somebody who's already fought in the war. It's like you had to have lost somebody in order to join them. I think that's cool. That's a super sick thing to make them propaganda. And that did happen. Like that genuinely did happen. Is there was a lot of women who were conscripted to be snipers out there in the during the Eastern Front, and yeah, they straight up used him as propaganda of like, yeah, even your friend over there is joining. You know, the U.S. won't let women join, but they'll let the snipers over here, and you're like, man, that's cool. That was a cool thing. Yeah, Crimson Brigade, they are super cool. In all honesty, if I could, I'd probably make them. I am just not a big fan of the color red. I don't know what it is. I'm not a big fan of the color red or the color yellow. I don't know why. I just don't like it. It's not my vibe. I'm a blue, green, pink guy. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. It's just the way I'm built. This is cool. I like this. Emma's probably watching this going, oh no, don't get Nick into another hobby, please. Please don't make him spend more money. It's too late. Doggies. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I might even just get some of these for puppers. Put some chaos puppers in my army. Since the only puppers in the entire game are one plunder dog, and oh, that's cool. I got 9. Yeah, it's mostly cooler colors except for like pinks and purples. It's really weird. I like a lot of cooler colors, but pink and purple are kind of the only. Purple's kind of a cooler color, but yeah, pink is like one of the only colors. But I also wonder how much of that is actually because I wonder if it's because I like the color pink or if it's because I like the Emperor's Children, and because of Emperor's Children I end up liking the color pink. It's a chicken and the egg situation. But probably the Emperor's Children one, because I love Emperor's Children, and I even didn't want to paint them pink at the very beginning, but I did because it's fun to also paint some stuff. Oh, actually, speaking of cool models, I need to put some of my other stuff in here too. But yeah, this is Emma's Sailor Moon Wraith Knight, if you can see it. I'll bring it up closer. Some bits have broken off from play because she does get used. But isn't that killer? Like that's an awesome model. I have to fix part of it for her, but like look at that. That's so cool. Such a cool model. All right. Oh, let's put that back. All right. Well, I hope you guys have had a lot of fun. Pink is a warm and cooler depending on the other tone. She's bald. She's bald, and she's kidnapping people that have hair. Can't believe that one popped up in my brain. Well, it's about 1:30. We've been going on for about 3 hours. Great job, everybody, for lasting 3 hours. Man, that's a long time to be listening to me talk. It's a really long time. Oh yeah. If you want some noise marine guns, I have a ton of them. I have a extra noise marine squad that I got from the box. So I have some extra ones. Yeah, I can absolutely grab some for you. More than happy to. Because noise marine dreads are sick. Actually, speaking of noise marine dreads, I do have something cool that I'll show off that I got from England a long time ago that I bought through eBay a long time ago. Where is he? Where are you? Where did I put you? There you are. I need to put some more stuff for this, but I used to use him as a Hellbrute for my old Emperor's Children army back when we were still in the CSM index. And this is the original Noise Dreadnought from back in the day. I think you could see him without it being too blurry. But no, so this was the original Noise Dreadnought. The way that I bought him, he was already built in on the base, so had the chainsaw arm. You can see that, but then yeah, the original like noise guns. And what was really cool about this, and what I think is going to probably happen when it comes to the actual design input of the new Noise Dreadnought, because I swear to God, if we don't get a new Noise Dreadnought, we better get a Noise Demon Engine or something. That these were actually very similar to the guns that you would actually get from the kits themselves. So like the only difference was these heads were a little bit more intense. But honestly, with the way that the new noise guns heads work, they're really nice for that one. But they were genuinely, funny enough, they were actually smaller in size and length than the Blastmasters were. Because the Blastmasters, I'm trying to see if I have one of my old Marines. Because the Blastmaster was like a long, skinny pistol, or long, skinny rifle that was like that long almost, and it would be held like upright. Yeah, we need to get a Hellbrute. Yeah, the Hellbrute is something in which like we need to either have a Dread or a Hellbrute, but I still love this guy. I am just really holding out hope that we're gonna get those Chaos Bikers as well. Because I feel like if you're gonna give any unit from CSM to EC, like bikers, like I don't understand why bikers are not in our army in the first place, unless they're making new bikers. Like personally, that's the only way I can see it. But yeah, I can also get some extra photos of that guy so you can have some reference. Oh, and I will, man, you know what? This is just the showing off Nick's models part of the show. I did also convert up one of the jump pack captains that I have into a Space Wolf guy, because recently I saw somebody on Reddit talking about doing the Giant Slayer one where he gets like +2 wounds and like +1 strength. So this guy is like strength 9, but also just what a cool model this captain is with the hammer. So I just basically converted the little normal hammer that he gets into a Space Wolf one. Just gave him a different shield and just put some Space Wolf bits on him. But I'm excited to buy some Vanguard veterans and get this guy into combat because he is so cool. But yeah, they just need to make a new one. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, they need to do honestly what they should do is they should make every single new release from Chaos is they should make it the same way that they did the Defiler, where you just have the Smash Captain. Yeah, like you should have it to where you could put a helmet on and it's like this is a Nurgle bike. Put some gross stuff on there, put a tentacle, you're good. And just have the different ability per codex and be like, yeah, these bikers are doing this, these bikers are doing that, right? Because the whole like, oh, you get this, but you don't get that, but you get this, is getting to the point where it's like, just let us make that decision on our own, right? Just let us do that. Let us make these things. Like, I don't think Nurgle gets like a Terminator Lord generically or something now or something like that. But like, yeah, we need that. We also need across the board. They need to make a new Terminator character for Chaos, like not an epic one, but somewhere where everybody can bring a Terminator captain, because the old one is The old one is so old that I have a conversion right here that I'm doing, right? As like a custom character. And I have to use one of the normal Terminator bodies. And he's still squatty compared to it. Like it's so old how old this Terminator is, to the point where I have to take the old bits and put them on the new guy, and the new Terminator body, like, it feels too big for some of these bits, and that's disappointing and sad. I will say though, if they get rid of the little imp on the back side, or the other one for the sorcerer, I swear to God, I'll lose it. Death Guard has their own Terminator. That's true. I forgot about that. They do have their own Terminator characters. Yeah, see, Death Guard has everything. Why does Death Guard have everything? They got Terminator characters. They got their own special vehicles. They don't even need a Defiler. They don't even need a Helmet. They've got everything they want. So that's enough of me complaining about that, though. I'm looking forward to 11th edition. I think there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff that comes out for us. I'm excited for a Drukhari refresh. I'm excited for Grey Knight refresh. I'm excited to see a lot of this stuff. This is where I'm upset with GW, because I'm like, oh, I'm not upset with GW. I don't know him personally. Death Guard is the favorite child of Chaos for sure. It definitely feels that way. Right now, I feel like they're trying to give more love back to Thousand Sons, I guess. But like, it is one of those things where you have all this stuff coming, right? But you're not going to give us like any indication of when to start getting ready, when to prepare. And like, I think that's something to me that feels kind of crappy, is just the fact of like, I think we're all ready to get started with 11th edition, but they're kind of like, no, we're not ready. And you're like, but we're ready. I'm ready. I've been ready. What do you mean? Like, so I really hope that they do a lot more of that, because I'm really excited to see these new models. I think all these new models look really cool. I can't wait till we get to an edition narrative where Drukhari is the meta chaser again. I'm excited for new metas. I'm excited for new stuff. I want stuff. Why are we waiting multiple days for new orcs? Because, oh, well, we just calculated all this stuff. Just give me some stuff. Give us some stuff. Come on, just release the stuff. The first data slate is when things will fully kick off. Yeah, I agree. I think it will. I think the thing that sucks is that we're still like 9 days out from that. And like, for me, this is all I do, basically. This is my full job, right? So I'm like, where's my job? I just need to work on other stuff, but I'm excited. I really hope that they keep doing that. Flashback to Grot. Oh my God. Grot Week. Oh God. Grot Week was so nice. I loved Grot Week. Back when there was something to talk about every single day. So nice. We don't have to make tier lists anymore. Oh God. I love the tier lists. I can't wait. I can't wait till Art of War makes somebody else mad. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying rage baiting the first edition. But as an Emperor's Children player, I'll probably get nerfed very early on. Into what? I don't know. I don't know how they'll nerf us. Maybe they'll just make flawless blades go back to being crap again. And you're like, okay, okay, whatever. I don't care. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are really excited too. I think that makes you the only one. Yeah, I am the only one. I am. But it's okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We're all going to have a good time. Well, I think I'm gonna bounce on the stream for now. I think, yeah, I don't know why I'm saying I think still. Thank you guys for watching. Nerfed early on. I got nerfed on launch. That's true, but get nerfed again. Get nerfed again. Yeah, I just don't know what else. I just genuinely don't know what they would nerf. I just don't have enough units to nerf at all. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had a good time. I'm gonna go get some. Me, it's time to end the stream, as the audio has gone out 3 times now. So Thorn goes up another 20 points. That's what I like to hear. I want it. I want it to go up another 20 points. Make it go up another 30 points. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. My hatred of the Rogel Dorn has ceased now that I have Defilers. So, anyways, that's going to be it for me today. I'm going to have a new video coming out on Friday in which I'm going to be going over the flawless blades and talking about how they work. To the person on YouTube that asked me to write a script, don't worry, I'm writing a script this time. We're writing a script. So thank you guys for watching. I had a great time hanging out with y'all. Thank you, Sadated Machine, for sending out some lists that we could talk about today. I had a great time talking about them. You guys made it really hard to critique any of those lists because they're really good lists. And in all honesty, I'm excited to look forward to playing against them soon. But yeah, come back next Monday with more lists. And then Friday will be I'll be probably submitting a video for y'all to watch about flawless blades, and then we'll stream in the afternoon some and do some painting together. So that should be fun. I could show y'all my process on my terrible messy desk. So let's do it. Sounds good. Well, anyways, again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate y'all. This video is going to be up if you guys want to watch this 3-hour stream. But until next time, I don't know what I was going to say. This has been work in progress. Give me your money. Have a good time. Remember, nerf the Dorn once again. Guard is broken. All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody.